Damn it, Oscar.
Hurry up, Oscar!
Damn it, Oscar, with your gaming addiction.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry, guys. We're only a little bit late. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Maxed and Doubled, episode 19. Wow, we're really getting... We've been doing this for a little while now.
We're almost old enough to drink in
That's like
America.
the age
We
you
are.
were when I met you.
We're 2 episodes away from being able to drink.
To be fair, that was like 2 years ago for him.
Yeah.
Putting you on blast because you're young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's really young.
I am. We have an announcement, and that announcement is that we are not going to be going live over the next 2 weeks. So next week and the week after, we will be quiet on this channel, although the bananas will still be happening on Fridays. And maybe I'll stream just to fill in the gap if I can.
No, you won't.
Probably won't. But Mad will not be going ahead on those nights, and we will be returning in 3 weeks' time. Let me check what that date is, because I didn't prepare that earlier. So it's the 28th, yes, indeed.
Sorry, I have a calendar right next to my face, so...
Hannah, which mic are you on, may I ask?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sweet. Glad that we got that early. So you may have to exit and come back. Awesome. Should we be back in a moment? Oh! You guys got to see some behind the scenes there. 2 tripods right in front of her face. Yeah, and of course Josh isn't here with us this week because he's in Japan. He's there in chat though, Robbo, whatever, 2714, whatever that means.
Did I fix it?
Hopefully.
Okay, because Discord's telling me it's not detecting input from my mic, so...
Okay, well we can hear you, so...
Yeah.
You're
you're all
just
good.
yelling really loudly.
Yeah.
I really don't want to do that.
So,
Thank you for catching
previously,
that.
that was not me who caught that. Previously,
Oh.
on Maxed and Doubled, you all, the Calamity Hunters, travelled with Fenrir, Sariel's old mentor, across the Coram Peninsula, through the jungles, and into an ancient ruins that you found, or that Fenrir had observed, previously found. You fought off a number of demonic entities, and in one case a Slard as well. You made your way through one miniature dungeon, fighting off a demonic centaur to deactivate a rune that seemed to serve as a key or a locking mechanism to something on the surface. With a bit of fiddling, you found that the podium on the surface was able to be used as a mechanism that unlocked the stairway into the main dungeon, where you then head down to meet a number of maddening creatures that Archibald directly found out about. And eventually...
In my defense, the first creature we found wasn't maddening. He was actually very helpful.
It was very helpful, wasn't it, that doppelganger? But the next one wasn't so much. You observed some ghostly type beings and had some brief encounters with undead, ghoulish style creatures, as well as a shadow mastiff. But eventually made your way down to the bottom of the dungeon.
Yes, it was a very bad dog.
Where you faced off against none other than Pestilence and its cronies. Through much hardship, a couple of you getting very close to death, you managed to pull through and killed Pestilence.
And the way to get rid of a cold is through fire.
That's exactly right. Apparently. I agreed with that before I heard what you said. I just kind of... that's how I deal with cold. Have you seen my hair? Anyway. You beat off Pestilence and...
Hold on, can you please rephrase that?
You killed...
Please rephrase
Pestilence and its cronies with the help of Pestilence. And eventually... I hear the production team laughing in the background, okay? Shush! Shush!
Stop beating off horsemen then.
If Jill helped you off a horse, would you help Jack off a horse?
started this company.
Yeah, I did.
And he's the one who said the original sentence.
It's true. You did say beat off pestilence, which is just bad.
You know what? Okay, there are probably not kids watching, but if there were, they would have taken it the way I wanted it to be. Fuck. Hold on.
Well, there's definitely not kids watching
Interpreted. Yeah, the way I wanted it to be interpreted.
Oh,
okay.
Lord.
I'm only digging my own grave.
You know what's great? I can only barely see a blur of chat, but I know what that quote is.
Oh, no, what? She's made it worse.
Josh was worried that there would be no one
There's
to...
an end.
Josh was worried that there'd be no one to talk shit while he was gone. Glenn said he'd take up the mantle, but I feel like I'm doing it to myself at this point.
Yeah.
Kinda. I think you missed Josh.
Regardless, after the fight, feeling bruised and battered and very close to death in some cases, a couple of you unconscious, in fact, you decided to all take a long rest. You leveled up, and you now have awoken in the beds of the dungeon with the dead bodies of the previous night surrounding your room. What would you all like to do?
Everybody's Umbral batteries are off right now, right?
Except for Fenrir's one, which has now run out. So Fenrir no longer has any on his person that are not depleted.
Okay. So, I guess we'll be heading out of here and probably taking a bit of a rest back in Yoln and then thinking about the other horsemen then.
What do we want to do about this place?
Yeah, it's like...
So there's a lot of creatures down here.
There is a lot of creatures down here.
And I do
Maybe
not
we can
think...
just tell an appropriate authority.
I guess the question about telling people is...
Should we just...
Would we feel it was wrong if this place burnt to the ground? Because most authorities that we tell will do that. Or maybe just brick and mortar it up or something equivalent.
I was thinking either collapse it in on itself or block it off.
Yeah.
Leave all the creatures here to just... They're gonna die either way.
There are 3 other horsemen.
Yeah.
Well, there are 3 other horsemen,
Yes,
right?
there are.
Yes.
I read about them in Abram Zach's book.
Fenrir gives you a nod and says, well, I did agree to tell you what I knew about them once we dispatched the pestilence, and I intend to hold up my end of the bargain. So, I guess I'll start from the beginning. And he begins to recount briefly the period of time between when he parted ways with you, Sariel, to a few years later, where, as he begins telling you more information between this period of time, he basically just tells you it was a time, kind of his own miniature Dark Ages, where he wasn't able to find much information what he's looking for, and didn't get too many leads, but then found one lead that led him to Yoln, where he visited the Crystal Athenium, which you guys have heard about in the past. When I was in the Athenium, that's possibly the biggest set of revelations that I've had regarding my research and everything on the horsemen. I found a number of useful texts and old tomes which seem to relate in some way to the horsemen. When I was studying there, I was there for quite a while, in and out, spending most hours of most days reading through their texts. But I noticed they had a number of history books outlining great famines, plagues, wars that occurred throughout the last millennium or so. But I cross-referenced those dates with some ancient legends that they also had, and they seemed to speak of monstrous beings astride terrible steeds as they were, that correlated directly with the dates in these history books. I followed that lead a little bit longer. I also found a children's fairy tale by Abram Zak that seemed to talk about the Four Horsemen. I assumed that was correlated in some way, but I have no idea if he had any direct experience with them. But I also found what is now my most prized possession. It's in my bag that I can't access right now, but it was a tome written by a Thrakrathan dragonborn named Kadana Kava.
Spelling?
Kadana is the first name, and the last name is Kava. To give you a brief rundown on what was in that tome, it details her travels in pursuit of information on ancient civilizations and their development. She describes having discovered evidence of a lost or forgotten form of magic that formed a foundation for ancient societies, but no one else seems to know about this. It's the only thing I could find that even hinted towards these things, and I believe in the last couple of days we've seen evidence ourselves.
Yep.
Then from there, using the information from that book, I headed to Chimeria once more, and there's a set of ruins on the outskirts of Western Chimeria. Seem to be of some ancient civilization that might have been here before Chimeria was. But there are no remaining clues, unfortunately, as to who built them or what their purpose was. No one seems to be willing to give information, but I feel it's probably connected based on the information in Carver's book. From there, I moved on to Wildervale. I wanted to see what life without Umbral access was like. They don't have a generator over there. They don't have any access to Umbra. There is no network that extends that far into pretty much all of that region. Closest they get is the Thrakrathan connection that they have, but it stops there. It's mostly home to druids, selection of other mostly beast creatures, but the druids there seem to be attuned to, in some way, to nature, as far as I can tell, and somehow are able to draw from it to cast minor magics. I'm not sure how. They are pretty close-lipped, and I don't fit in very well there.
Do I have an idea how?
Roll an Arcana check for me.
10.
This seems entirely new to you, and
Okay.
I mean, can you roll an Arcana check for Silkus as well?
Yeah.
That's
cocked.
cocked, which is probably a good thing.
Again cocked. There we go.
I'd like to retroactively declare my dice as cocked. as well.
Wait.
23.
23.
This is where Silkus wants to go, right?
It is, yes. Yeah, Silkus has been mentioning Wildervale and heading there. Silkus pipes up briefly and mentions the possible connection between the magic that we've been seeing around this area in the last couple of days and the druids, since the magics that he's been studying and the magics he's found here don't, at least the ones that are found here, don't seem to be reliant on the Umbral network to function. which, as he says this, you kind of remember the alarm thing that you found, and it was functioning without, all on its own. It was obviously placed prior to you turning up, which meant that somehow it was functioning without Umbral access, or there was Umbra coming from somewhere else, but seems unlikely.
I think if it was coming from somewhere else, we'd have noticed.
Yeah,
I probably would have felt it.
yeah, you get that sense. And he said this trip also brought up some questions about the generators themselves, so I decided to try for a closer examination of them. And don't worry, this all does relate to the horsemen. They seem to be connected to this extra magic that I've found. I don't know how, again. It's what I'm researching. But I headed back to Chimera again from Wildervale and tried to make my way into the Prism Hull, which is the main building that guards the prism itself, the Umbral generator in Chimera. I was initially denied access, of course, because security there is pretty tight, but I was able to find a poorly guarded roof access point. Some of those projection spires on top of the hull, they've got some gaps between where they meet the roof, and I was able to sneak in there. Unfortunately, it was not able to get up to the generator itself, because they have some seriously tight security on that thing. I don't think anyone stands much of a chance to getting in there unless you've got an army at your back, which might be the Horsemen's intentions. I'm not entirely sure. So I figure that the best way to get my hand on the generator would be to go to Ellendale, where the war is happening, and have a look at the egg, which is their generator over there. Haven't been there yet. I'm on my way. But that's when I joined the Academy of Umbral Abatement and met you, Silkus. I was mainly looking for information that might exist in their archives of the forgotten form of magic, but they didn't have anything. Again, it seems to be a completely forgotten realm of existence. I assume ancient. Seems to only be connected to ancient civilizations that no one really studies. The archaeologists around Chimera don't have translations of the writings that have been found on the ruins there, but these ruins are everywhere. No one's deciphered anything yet, but it's just a whole bunch of information, scraps everywhere that I don't know how to put together and that I'm currently working on. Then, earlier this year, I headed over to the northwestern side of Daelandar and tried to get into Illigat, which is on the island of Yoln, which you all know from your viewing of the maps that, here, I'll just show you here, that there is the island of Yoln. Illigat is up there. So you're seeing...
For those riding along at home, Ilm is spelled Y-L-M.
Yes, it is.
Why not?
Because why the fuck not? Because I had tracked the horsemen to a base over there, where they seem to have set up camp in Illigat, which they've been operating out of for a while now. I wanted to get in there, see what I could find out about them, what they were doing with it, but unfortunately was unable to do it because I was intercepted as they crossed the channel and we had an encounter. That's where they first actually saw me, at least first realised that I was following them, in the barrier jungle. Pestilence and War were riding out, and we had a brief, I guess, fight. Didn't last very long, I got the hell out of there. But I pursued them across Daelandar, and that's when we ended up meeting in Chimera, all of us. And now we're out here. Now the horsemen themselves, as you know, seem to represent particular ideals. Pestilence, famine, who I've not met, but I know exists, war, and death. War I have traced back to Ellendale. Seems to be his origin, somewhere around there. They seem older than history goes back. In the absolute oldest texts that I've been able to find in the Crystal Athenium, they all suggest the existence of these horsemen. So they seem to have been around for millennia at best, at the very best, potentially much, much longer.
Do you think the people themselves have been around? Or do you think that war, pestilence, famine, and death are titles?
It's a good point.
It would suggest
Because
that we probably didn't kill something which individually has survived for thousands of years until now.
these spurs, they call forth the horse.
Is that true?
Yes.
Interesting. That explains some things.
So it might just be titles, even though the person and the horse seem to be connected to the ideal.
So does that mean that you're officially pestilence?
If I call forth the horse, I will be technically a horseman.
Did your investigations give you any insights into the nature of the horse? Like how much of the power is on one side of the relationship versus the other?
Well,
'Cause
because
we
if
didn't-
it is a title that is passed on, I'm just wondering how they pass on the power.
Because we didn't really see that much of Pestilence himself's abilities. We got him locked down pretty effectively. So it is a little bit difficult to judge.
It just seems weird that he'd be that easy to take down if he was millennia old.
I agree.
But maybe he's that easy to take down because he's that millennia old.
You'll have very good points.
As I was burning him alive,
Yeah.
how old did he look in when his eye things popped and I could see his eyes?
From the brief moment that you got to see skin, it looked just as diseased as anything else that he had around and disfigured in a way. There wasn't much in the way of any features that you could identify a person by before at this point, before they became this thing.
I could only see him, just see his eyes before they were incinerated, so I'm wondering, crow's feet?
Hang on.
Roll a history check for me.
Also, if I want to recall what popular... John's never seen a lich or a leash, but he's probably seen depictions of them. So if I were to... never mind, John was unconscious at any point when he would have had the opportunity to see it. But
that's true, he was.
What type of creature is a lich?
It's a...
Liches are undead.
It's like a wizard
Would
that
I know anything about
intentionally
those?
becomes undead, right?
I don't think so.
Roll a history check with disadvantage for me.
25.
25. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
crow's feet.
Alright,
So I think...
pretty damn old then.
I think
And with that, you kind of...
Sariel is the only one who is both... I guess Sariel and Fenrir are the only ones who are conscious and
Not
would have
actively
seen...
burning.
And not actively amnesiac, I was thinking. Like, would have seen a book with a leash in it. Or lich in it and remember it.
You know,
I mean, Silkus might have. He did
25.
study.
No, wasn't Silkus also unconscious at that point?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Silkus and John were both
I
unconscious.
missed the unconscious
With
piece
that,
of that, or at least I skipped over it.
That first one as well. Now that you've had a moment to kind of think on it, you realise that the facial features or what existed of them were quite narrow in a way that would suggest maybe femininity.
Ooh.
Okay. Would it? I'm just gonna think about that for a second. And I'll look at Silkus. Would it also suggest elveninity?
Potentially from from what you got.
Okay.
You didn't see any hint of the typical elven ears, but
He had a
that
mask.
would have
They
been
had a mask.
exactly.
Yeah. So
The mask burned away, but you didn't get much of a chance to see anything beyond the eyes and a brief bit of the skin and facial features. So you didn't get to see the ears.
Okay.
I feel like we just beat the shit out of a woman now, and I feel bad.
Oh, fuck that. She made your wolf sick.
Fair, I feel better, thank you.
You're welcome.
What also interests me is what they were doing here. And he walks over to one of the cells in the room that still exists and is locked. He peers inside. I'm going to say he goes over to one of the ones where the two of you dragged out the engineer.
Oh yeah. How are they? They still babbling?
Still babbling.
Alright.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Brainwave.
Okay. And he goes over and he kind of inspects the cells and sees what's in there. And he says, on the way down here, we found creatures, yeah?
Yeah.
These are all humanoid. This seems like a holding cell right here.
Pre-conversion, you thinking? Or
Maybe
post?
conversion. Maybe torture. Maybe both. Why would they have an engineer here? What are they
Maybe
trying
they're
to
planning
do
on
with an
building
Umbral
something.
engineer? This is the Chimerian uniform.
I mean, maybe he's got curious. I mean, it's probably something to do with this new form of magic that you're researching. So either they wanted some expertise on Umbra or magic, or he got curious, went off on his own, and was unprepared.
Or you point at the engineer. Maybe they haven't even missed a day of work. There are doppelgangers down here.
That is a good point.
So,
The
the premise
doppelgangers-
there is that there's a doppelganger posing as this guy?
The doppelgangers need a person to continue to be alive to...
Roll an Arcana check for me.
9.
You're not sure.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Anyway,
Did they copy exactly what a person looks like, bruises and all, or just the overall reflection?
When the other one copied you,
yeah,
it was an exact replica,
from what I could see.
from what it could see.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's...
So would that mean that
Mhm.
if somebody took the doppelganger who posed as Ashwood and they took its shirt off, it wouldn't have the tattoos because it didn't see them?
Reasonable assumption.
Seems likely.
Theoretically.
So
That's a lot.
we can safely assume that this guy's not married, or somebody would know.
As you're talking about...
Well, the fuss isn't
As
big
you're
enough.
talking about the mint-skin tiefling, you do hear
Do you say mint
some words.
skin?
Yes. The skin is a bright mint colour. But you hear some words come through that aren't just utter babbling. 3 words.
Yeah.
Felix, Athena, and Ingrid come through. 3 names. Roll a history check for Silkus for me, please, John. Actually, for both of you.
Can I?
Yes, you can.
I was going to say, what use would that be?
So that...
Actually, just everyone roll a history check for me, please.
27.
Holy shit.
I know who these people are.
You said
even
history,
if
right?
Circus doesn't.
History, yeah.
18.
History for everyone. 18?
Yeah.
No point, but...
Felix, Athena.
8
Ingrid.
for Silkus, 5 for John.
Okay.
Ooh.
The two of you immediately.
Which is
you
probably
remember
not the two
seeing,
you expected.
you remember seeing this. Funnily enough, these 3 names listed on a poster board in Chimeria. Sariel, you know these 3 names because these are the names of the royal family of Chimeria, of the Chiman Empire.
Oh.
Okay, what did the poster board say? Were they missing?
You just remember kind of seeing their name, probably on some form of event posting.
Poster board in Chimeria. That's where I know those names from.
I wonder why they'd be on a poster board. Those are the royal family.
So either special guests, which is possible, but like doesn't ring right considering the circumstances.
Do you think maybe they have a connection to them, hence why they need a doppelganger? That way the doppelganger can get connections to the royal family?
It's starting to sound likely, yeah.
Well, we did establish that this is a Chimerian uniform, right? So maybe they are a royal engineer.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's a thing, but
Silkus, is it a
I've
thing?
never been in that table.
Roll a
Silkus would know if there are tieflings.
roll a straight intelligence or wisdom check for Silkus.
Oh, that's a 7, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
That's not cocked. Good. 16.
Oh, nice.
16. There are some scientists that work for the royal family, but engineers tend to be more focused on the generator itself.
So I suppose there's the chance that he is a regular engineer or could be working on a more secretive topic, which, I mean, I don't know of any, but like I assume there are secret projects that they've got people working on. Like most nations would have them of some sort.
I mean, he could be ahead of some innovative project on Umbra, I suppose.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to take just any old willy-nilly person. You'd probably want somebody quite high up in a hierarchical scheme.
Yeah.
As you say that, you're interrupted by a high-pitched as they just...
You're right, Fenrir.
As the tiefling sitting on the ground at your feet just starts going into like a bubbling noise and then quietens down a bit. And
My niece
definitely
does that. She's
something
like
has
9
happened.
months old.
Well,
Hold
Does
on.
anybody know the cure for feeble mind?
do I?
Roll an Arcana check.
Hell yeah.
Hold on. I think I've had
11.
11. No.
It's this one. I don't know what it does yet.
I think I might have had something of a thought. Archibald, you recall how I was able to sort of encode and display some of your memories using one of the spells that I had learned. I wonder if I could perhaps try to do a similar thing with this man, see if we could perhaps, assuming that he is trying to communicate, perhaps we could use that to encode and show some of his thoughts. If he can't put them into words, then maybe we could communicate that way.
Is there a way that we can flip Michael into Josh's box when he talks to Josh?
That would be
No.
amazing, but also real difficult.
You do a really good Josh.
He does do a really good
sorry,
Josh doing
Silkus.
Silkus.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I reckon it's worth a shot.
I
also
can
think-
turn on my eyeball generator for you guys. I mean, it's probably better if you guys keep yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John's isn't
appreciate
quite
that.
suited for it.
No, not really.
Part of me also wants to find out what they sound like on rapport spores. But that's more Glenn than Archibald.
Yeah.
I think it's worth a shot, Silkus. You spend that spell slot.
Yeah, so...
I'm gonna turn on my amber generator for them. My
Okay.
amber battery.
You
Okay,
do
so... Thank you. So yeah, Silkus is gonna walk over and sit down, I imagine, like, sort of on the steps next to the man, like, slowly and quietly. It's gonna cast Detect Thoughts on him.
Okay. The initial thoughts that are detected
Yeah.
are just the random babbling. There is
Yeah.
nothing of much use. Although you do get another word out of it.
Yeah.
You do get a couple of phrases, actually. You get the words lambda baryons and decay product.
Do I know what these mean?
Roll an Arcana check for me.
If this is a hybrid magic nuclear setting, this would be really cool, but also I'd be kind of surprised at you.
Can you just repeat those
20.
phrases?
25.
Fuck. Lambda baryons. So lambda as in Greek lambda. And baryons, which is Baryons. And then the second one was decay product.
Decay.
Decay, as in
Rotting.
Yes, product.
Okay. It's a bit weird.
So Silkus gets those words in
yeah,
some of the babbling
and-
that happens.
And he's gonna try and cast Encode Thoughts.
Okay.
So that he's gonna display this,
Okay.
so that hopefully he can,
So
this engineer can communicate in a visual format.
okay. So Silkus combines the two spells and begins to display in his hand a very small picture of what he's seeing
Yeah.
in the mind of this tiefling. Initially, it's just it's like you're looking into the Matrix. It's just crap. But then, as he starts to probe deeper and starts to display in the picture, you get just flashes of first what looks to be the interior of a large laboratory of some sort. You get the briefest of flashes amongst other vistas of Chimera that you've seen before. You get a very brief flash of what you can only guess is the umbral generator in Chimera, the prism, because of the enormous umbral beam that is connected to it and shooting out into the sky. And then you get a very brief flash of someone that you don't recognize, then a flash to war, then you see briefly the mountain range that you crossed, the Daling range, and you see suddenly, finally, a flash of just this eldritch abomination staring into the memory, essentially, directly out. Which, Archibald, as you're watching this, seems similar in some fashions to the one that you saw that sent you briefly mad.
Okay.
At which point the spell
Yeah.
fades.
Okay. Now,
Code Thoughts is still there, so he can still display
Yeah.
what he's seeing, but
I didn't write the note. I didn't write it in my notes. But when we encountered war, did they have a person on the back of their horse?
roll a history check.
I don't think we were paying too much attention to his baggage.
You don't seem to remember there being one.
That's alright. What do I remember with my 25 about
That was the Arcana check on.
decay product and lambda barrier, or whatever it is. Baryon.
You don't know anything about what those words mean, but you do
Hell yeah.
feel like you've heard people in a laboratory setting speak those words before.
Interesting. Sorry for my chair squeaking.
Fenrir, you mentioned you hadn't met Famine.
I don't know where Famine currently is.
Have
My best
you-
guess would be
Have you seen Death?
briefly, yes.
Did he look like either of those images? The figure or the thing?
Death is. While I assume one day, based on the way this is going, you probably will end up seeing Death. Death is not remotely. No.
The Eldritch Abomination was a sort of it
If
was
I were to
not a
guess-
super zoomed in thing. It was an entire body, or
It was kind of upping the face. So you don't
Okay.
actually know how big it was,
Okay.
but you saw its face and
So
part of its body.
some extremely warped features. Unclear what the context of those
Exactly
are.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Fenrir just says, I would assume that the whatever monster that was might be here. Whatever sent this person mad seems like that's what those things upstairs are being used for. Maybe that last flash was upstairs.
Yep, I'd say so. I've seen that before. Now,
Don't know about you guys, but I'm not keen to go looking through lots of different cells to find something that might make me act
I'm going to
like
kneel,
him.
I'm going to kneel down in front of Lyari.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look them in the eyes. And using message, I'm going to ask, do you know me? Do you know who I am?
I like the way you think. There's no response for a short while, and then you get the babbling coming through. But right before the message cuts off, you hear help.
Okay. I think we need to move. At least get them away from this building. Get them back to Yoln, possibly. Find someone to help them.
Yeah, I kind
They just explicitly asked for help.
Yeah. I would say so.
I think it's time to go. I'm sick of standing in knee-high sludge.
Well, if we took him back to Yoln, maybe there's somebody that can actually fix his mind.
Let's hope.
I personally don't know Greater Restoration. I assume that might help, but I don't know it, so...
Yeah, there's definitely some people there if we want to go the non-magical route.
I think it's worth a shot.
Just look something up.
John, how would you feel about carrying a tiefling back to Yoln?
Could we not levitate him for periods of time?
Periods of 10 minutes.
I mean, they walked, kind of.
Well,
With
maybe
you
we
and
just
Fenrir
tie a
out.
rope around his waist. and
okay.
lead him.
They're not completely incapable of moving themselves, and they're just a little slow.
Yeah. Also, in my head, I'm imagining him as severely underweight. Would that be accurate?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty malnourished. Doesn't look like they've had much food in a little while.
Okay.
They're pretty much barely clinging
Bridges.
on to life at this point.
Bridges and stuff that we had, and precarious paths that we had to cross, were they more than 30 feet?
No, you went north out of Yoln along the pathways along the reaches of the mountains, and the only one you had was that like 10-foot gap
Cool.
in the path.
Yep.
So
Cool.
besides that, it was all just flat land.
I can't cast that on anyone else. Cool. Alright, I think let's just get out of here to start with.
Yeah, good
Yep.
plan.
Oh,
I'm going to look around
Yep.
for the dungeon quick exit.
Make an investigation check for me.
I mean, there was the direction that
21.
21. There's the direction that Pestilence initially appeared from. You know what's down
I
there.
forgot that.
You don't know what's down that way, but other than that, you don't find any secret exits or anything.
Okay.
we know he tried to run that way.
It's true.
That is true.
I'm going to... I think we might as well just keep pushing forward. No point going back the way we came. If Feeble Mind
Yeah, I
over
mean, there's
here
more stuff we
is-
could get in fights with on the way back, and I don't know about you guys, but I kind of had enough, and I want to go somewhere that has I just want a beer.
Yeah,
We just go get a beer,
I want an actual bath instead of a presto shower.
and I kind of want to go back to their family in Yoln
True.
and politely not break into their house and tell them that we killed Pestilence.
Yeah.
Good point. Let's do that.
Let's head back to Yoln.
So we head back
Are we
to
heading
Yoln.
back
So
by
we
going
are-
forward? Because
Okay.
I don't want to go back through those
Yeah.
ghosts.
We'll go
and
forward.
shit.
We're going till we find the ladder.
Okay, so you
Um,
begin to head out
Yeah.
in that direction. Was there
Just-
anything else?
How would they get a horse up a ladder?
It's magic.
Dispelling and re-summoning, I suppose.
He didn't
I
have a
guess.
horse when he was trying to escape. That was a part of the reason he tried to escape. Also, this horse has a climbing speed of 50 feet.
Oh yeah, and that
Climbing speed.
and that horse can teleport.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, continuing.
Yeah.
My faith in there being a ladder is restored. Let's go.
So I'll go over and open the door. Is it well
There's no
lit?
door. It's just an archway.
Oh, is it lit? Or are we gonna have to?
It's not lit.
Are there torches?
I mean, there are sconces along the walls.
I want to
where
note
you
that
are.
after using the magic, I've turned my Umbra generator back on.
Okay, so you do so. And you're doing
Yeah.
what?
I was going to presto the lights back on.
You
but-
want to do it quickly.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, there aren't any sconces or anything in the passageway that you
Oh.
can see. But in the room that you're in, there are.
I
The-
guess
the room
I'll
you're in
take
is
a torch
lit.
because I've got feeble human eyes
Okay.
in both this game and real life.
Okay.
I'll take the lead.
I just
and
broke
sort
my
of-
pen.
Oh.
Rip your pin.
Rip pen. You just made fun of my accent.
I may have.
Just wait till you get within
Alright.
swinging range.
Oh yeah. Should throw the pin at me next time.
I'll take point. Silkus, you want to walk with this guy in the middle. Make sure he doesn't trip over anything. And we'll. Yeah.
Do tieflings have dark sight?
Tieflings do have dark vision, yeah.
I still think we should tie a rope around his middle so that he can't wander off and get lost.
That is a good idea.
Look, I'm happy to go first if you like. You can follow behind. I can see ahead.
Yeah, that's probably a smarter idea. Yeah.
I'll go up ahead with Fenrir.
Okay, so the three of you up front, and then
I am at the back.
you're at the back, and Silkus is in the middle with Sulfur.
Did you want to be in the middle with what's his face and Lyari?
No strong preference.
I guess spellcasters will stay in the
Yeah.
middle.
Okay, cool. So essentially, Fenrir, John, Archibald, Lyari, Silkus, Sulfur, Zariel is what we've
I
got
think
going.
I'm using sulfur as my seeing eye wolf.
Okay, cool. So you'll go up with-
And you have a
she'll do that.
torch.
So.
There's enough room as you start moving
torch,
forward.
yeah.
There is enough room for two abreast easily, so you're able to move that way. And Fenrir starts to lead you along. You're walking through here, and it's a fairly narrow passageway here.
Yeah.
The walls are lined with more cells, and you can hear noises coming from in them as you move past. So you're all averting your eyesight.
Yeah.
Okay. You can hear noises coming from them, and the occasional slam up against one of the cell doors as you walk past. But you avert your eyes and you continue walking, and eventually the worked stone, cobblestones, and the stone walls and ceiling begin to make way to more natural-looking cave system that starts to gradually descend and bend off to the left. And you continue walking down there. Fenrir leads you further and further.
Still pretty easy footing.
Still fairly easy footing. It's not steep, and it seems like there's been traffic through here at some point. But it is still pitch black. There is no light whatsoever, so only the light of your torches and those who can see in the dark.
Yeah.
And this cave system begins to lead further and further down and down and down. And you're walking for about an hour in this way without any deviations in the pathway. Without
What does the air
it
smell
going
like?
up at all. Very musty. It's just damp
There's no
and dirty.
Breeze.
There's no breeze at the moment.
Yeah, we're not going near an exit.
Oh, that's a shame.
Just from
Yeah.
stale air.
Yeah. I don't really have any experience in caves.
They're not my most favourite location.
Yeah. I'll trust your
Consider
judgment
not
on
your
this. Like,
favoured terrain.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Keep going.
like how obviously like well trodden is it?
Make an investigation check for me.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. 6.
That's not.
I'm not trained.
Oh. I thought it.
You
thought it was the 20?
I thought that. No, I thought it was a different number. Yeah, because your dice are weird. Yo,
This is not a very weird
Are you
dice.
still holding out hope for a ladder here?
am I?
Are you holding out hope for a ladder? I mean, there's not much sign of. It's still. You don't see footprints per se. It's still a relatively.
Like it has the.
It's stone
seems-
with a thin layer of dirt.
Yeah,
and
it seems like a path.
it's definitely a path of
Okay.
some sort. You're not sure how much traffic or when the
Yeah.
traffic, but there's definitely been traffic in the past.
Yeah.
And obviously, why am I doing that? Obviously, pestilence came up from this path
You just
previously.
want
You don't
him
know
to be
from
a
how
bad
far,
guy.
but
Yeah.
I don't know why I do that. Why do I confuse Fenrir and pestilence? They're not even remotely
It's the
similar.
same person.
Because you want Fenrir to be a bad guy, which I will not let you do.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you've already called him a dick, so he's halfway there.
You can be a dick and not be a bad guy. Have you met yourself?
Just because you're a bad guy does not mean you're a
You-
bad.
You bad guy.
Are you saying I'm a good guy?
Yeah.
It's nice
I was
thing you've
gonna
ever said
get
about
ahead
me.
of yourself.
Yeah.
Huh?
Never mind. So, what are you all doing?
How much
I was
time?
trying to tell Oscar he was a good person, but apparently it's just not cool.
All right.
There's no time for that. Let's keep going.
How much time are we willing to invest in this? I guess.
I think I've spent enough time.
I mean, before we turn back.
Yeah, no, I do too.
Okay.
Archibald's already tired.
Archibald is tired.
All right.
I'm tired of your shit.
Let's just about face and go home.
Well, we'll just deal with the people in the place, and then we'll just.
Man,
go
we
to
got
Yoln
around them
and
before.
try and
I don't know how well we can get around them this time, but we can try.
We'll try. We'll do what we have to do. I guess.
Maybe we can like throw a rock and distract them. Like throw it that way.
Okay. So you make your way back into the main room of that dungeon that you were in.
Yeah.
Everyone's respawned.
Everyone's respawned. They're all back. Time to fight pestilence again, guys.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
You make your way
Hey,
around the pillars.
In Dark
past-
Souls, I'm pretty sure the named bosses don't respawn.
No campfire.
Yeah. You didn't set it a bonfire, so nothing's respawned. You make your way around that central pillar, past where you slept over the last night. You make your way back out the entrance to that large room, up the spiral stairs, to the level above, to the point where you initially scaled the wall to come down with Yoln's double roping trick. You look out ahead, and Sari, are you in front now that you've all about faced, or are we in the...
Yeah, why not?
Okay, make a perception check for me, Sari.
Can that be with my passive perception?
Does it have to do with hearing?
What was the roll?
Well, I rolled a 3, so 8. Whereas my passive's 15, so you know.
You look out, and over the two lower paths, you can't see up to the upper paths, but the two lower ones that you can see, you don't see any of those shadowy dogs. But you do still see the ghostly figures.
Well, there's no dickhead animals, but there's still some dudes I don't really want to mess with right now. I don't know about you guys, but dealing with ghosts just kind of makes me feel see-through. I don't really like it.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll try and see if I can. Hold on. I've got it up somewhere. I think. Hold on. Let me just check. And Silkus rummages around in his pack for a bit, and
I'm gonna laugh if he's gonna use something out of Josh's inventory that he really wants to keep for something else, and he like bitches at us.
It's fine. Anything Michael does
right,
with Silkus is only half canon.
I somewhat I thought I had stocked up in Yoln. Sorry, do you mind if I? And John is like, like holds up a rope, and so it's like, yes, thank you. And Silkus then uses Mage Hand and attempts to tie the rope onto the bars.
Okay.
Up above, which
That's
is
good.
a bit awkward.
With one hand, yeah. Make a sleight of hand.
How
check
big is
with
the
his...
hand? Because the amount of times that I've
Arcana.
tied something while using my thumb to hold it down and then using my fingers to tie
Just
it.
make an Arcana check
Yeah.
for Silkus.
Aha.
Damn.
23.
So
Nice.
you all watch as the spectral hand grabs the end of the rope, floats up to the upper level and over the ledge where you can no longer see it. Which is a little awkward for Silkus, but he's going off of memory. He knows roughly what the path is up there is like, and in about 5 or so minutes, you watch him let go of the spell, and the rope doesn't fall down. So,
All right then. Let's see. I'll head up first and carry up who needs to be carried, and everyone else can climb.
just because I'm a nice person, Cyril, don't forget the boots you have.
Thank you.
Your smelly climbing boots.
Yeah, my smelly climbing boots.
Yeah. Okay. So you're heading up first?
Yeah.
Cool.
How high up is it? Sorry.
It's only 30 feet.
Sweet.
So you.
So can
an
I
athletics check for
make
me?
the weird dog carry situation that makes me look like I'm wearing a fur coat and spider climb up the wall, please?
Sure. Make a strength check for.
Wait, I don't need my hands. I could just hold her. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
hold
Spider-Man. Make a strength check for me.
23.
23. Yeah. So you begin to climb up using the rope, and it seems to hold tight.
Yeah.
As Cyril with Sulfur begins to walk up the side of the wall next to you. What did you roll?
7.
7.
I'm very terribly going to have her teeth, like my teeth around her tail, so that if I start to drop her, I'm holding her by her tail with my teeth.
That would hurt. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I fucking would, but I wouldn't be dropping her, so, you know.
Cyril starts to walk up the wall with Sulfur in her arms, and she's having some trouble holding herself up, but she's slowly moving with you.
Yeah.
You get up there first. Cyril, you also end up on the top ledge. Make a perception check, both of you, for me, please.
Better be better than before. No, it's worse. Okay.
12.
I don't see shit.
12. John,
I'm too
you're
busy
looking-
panting from carrying her. I'm just like,
You're looking up along this path, and you don't see any of the spectral beings. To be fair, you didn't really see any of them up this high anyway previously, but you see what looks to be a relatively clear shot.
Yeah.
Who's going next?
I tell Silkus to go.
Okay.
And
They require attunement, right? I can't just take my boots off and throw them down at somebody.
Yeah, they are attuned. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I don't want to make somebody wait half an hour to climb a wall.
I'll tell Silkus.
Anyone who's John's gonna lean down and say like anyone who's not comfortable climbing, just like wrap the end of the rope around your arm a bunch of times. I'll hold you up. Like it's probably safer.
Okay. Silkus will agree to that. He'll wrap his arms around the rope. And what were you saying?
Fenrir, before you start climbing, can you just help tie Lyari to this rope?
Don't worry about Lyari. I'll take it myself.
All right.
Can I just point out that
You haven't
Fenrir
deactivated
is always very confident about carrying people. What?
you have you deactivated your battery yet, or is it still going?
I deactivated it. Why?
All right.
Okay. I'll say you reactivated it because otherwise your boots wouldn't have worked, but you can deactivate it again
True.
now if you want.
Okay.
And also Silkus's mage hand wouldn't have. So is it still active?
Yeah, I'll leave it active until
Okay.
everybody's up in case we need
What's that,
feather
Silkus?
fall.
For you,
26 to haul Silkus.
Okay, yeah, Silkus will aid in that, but it doesn't matter. And you haul him up with somewhat of his help. He's at the top. Archibald, are you next?
I'm just waiting for Fenrir and Lyari to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Drop the rope
So
down.
you can catch Lyari if he falls.
Yeah.
Fenrir, he ignores the rope as it comes down.
Yeah.
Takes Lyari by the arm, and you watch as he casts a quick spell and takes both of them up to the top ledge.
Well, that's a neat trick.
I could come get you,
Misty
but
step.
that's a cool trick too. Glad we both know that.
I look down. No one's.
So
left
he
there.
didn't. There was no mist left behind when he did it.
Yeah.
You don't recognize the spell he cast, but he was able to take Lyari.
Do I?
Natural 20. If
That
you'd
was
rolled
dimension
if
door.
you had rolled fucking anything else, it would have been a no, you don't.
That's dimension door. I've got it on my shoulder here.
The look on
Dimension
Oscar's
door.
face right now is a God damn it with non-verbal.
Anything else? The DC for that was natural 20. That was the DC. Yes, it's dimension door. So you do recognize the spell. And so now you're all up the top. Are you
Fun
deactivating
fact.
your battery now, or are you leaving it active for now?
Anybody else want to do something funky before I turn this thing back off?
I'm good for now.
No.
No
Good
one
for
else
now.
wants to parlor trick me?
Oh,
Freak
actually,
me out?
right, just before you do, I'm going to take my battery out of the bag as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just so we've got two, just in case. I'm just going to clip
Oh, because was yours in the bag of holding?
Yeah,
Good point.
Fun fact: can't be in the bag of holding,
that's a good point. Okay, never mind.
but it
You have a normal bag, right?
You've got a backpack,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we'll say it was in that.
Alright.
Yeah, so I'll go over, untie the rope. Ah, this is a nice bow line. Yeah, untie it, put it in my pack.
I'm
Cool.
The main thing is I want my battery within bonus action range.
Cool. Yeah, cool. It still takes an action, but yes, cool. I get you. So that's a fourth level spell.
You know
Alright.
what? I'm actually just gonna. I might just leave mine on. We'll just waltz out of here with one on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you begin moving back towards the bridge. As you
I
go,
really don't want to get
you
caught
reach
with that.
you reach that room that was at the end of either end of the bridge, and you realize that the body of that shadow mastiff that you previously killed is gone. Not sure where, but it no
shadows.
longer exists there. And so you cross the bridge. You head down the other side, keeping yourselves aware of that one cell that wasn't quite locked properly and nearly, well, I say nearly, and potentially could have ended in one of you getting pushed off the ledge, but instead ended with the still struggling, partly sighing and screaming under its breath, if that makes sense, ghouly figure that's impaled on the fence railing that John threw, is still there. You make yourselves aware of it, you dodge around it, and you end up reaching the entrance once more, passing by that final room full of cells where you met that first doppelganger. So unless there's anything else you'd like to do in here...
Are we helping that guy, or are we going?
We're going.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Hmm?
We could put him to sleep and unlock his cage and get the fuck out before he wakes up. And he did help us. But we just don't have to put up with him being a volatile jerk. Just in case. If that's, he helped you. I don't know how you feel about it, but if that's something you want to do. I mean, Silkus does no sleep, right?
I do, yeah.
We all know how much Silkus likes saving people.
I mean...
Don't hurt the dinosaur, Daddy!
Oh god, please don't.
Very
TV ad.
It's up to all of you.
I mean, I'm not sure how much Silkus is a... I mean, doppelgangers are inherently evil creatures. I learned it in college, kind of person, but...
I mean, he tried to stop us from killing things that were trying to kill us. I feel like he's pretty open to the idea.
I'm just not sure I feel comfortable unleashing another creature that can look like anybody on
Fair
the
enough.
world.
I was just giving you the option in case you hadn't thought of it.
Yeah, let's just go.
Okay. As you do pass by the doppelganger and a couple of you look in, it briefly takes the form of Silkus.
I'm not looking in.
And then...
I look in, because I'm curious.
Yeah, you see it briefly take the form of Silkus as he walks by.
Can I quietly whisper to it, what language do they speak?
You don't know.
Well, I want to whisper
I mean,
in Infernal.
You were there when they were speaking in common together.
Yeah, I'm going to whisper to it in Infernal and be like, you can find a more pleasing shape as I walk past.
Okay.
Please tell me if it laughs. Come on.
You continue walking. It doesn't react, but it looks at you, and you see your face in it briefly before you turn away and leave.
Oh, that's a compliment.
It's your face on Silkus's body, though.
Ew.
You head up the stairs into the crumbled tower. On the surface, you finally see sunlight for the first time in over a day, or in about a day. As you reach the surface, there are no creatures. The dead bodies of the previous battle are all still there. And nothing seems to be in the area that is at least alive and hostile.
What were the...
I'm going to stay inside the burnt out tower because I have a myconid on my back.
True.
Anybody want to lend me their cloak?
Yeah, right. I lend you
I'm
mine.
going to put a second cloak on over top of the myconid.
Okay, you do so.
And then I'll step out.
Did the creatures outside have weapons? I forgot.
No weapons that you know of.
Alright.
Not even a slab?
The closest thing to a weapon that was found was the wand.
I'm just
that was on
looking
that one demon.
something inorganic.
Side had nothing. I mean, there are loads of stones and all kinds of things all over the place.
Alright, I'm gonna find the most man-made looking thing that's about that long.
Okay.
That looks fairly strong.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna flip that lever back up.
Okay. You do. The stairs behind you crumble, and you assume they lock unless you go back and have a look.
Yeah, well.
Okay,
just
yeah,
double
they are
check.
sealed.
Alright, cool.
And moments later, the podium shifts and sinks back again.
As it's going down, is there an opportunity for me to...
The actual pillar itself is still there, but the top of it shifts and sinks.
Is there an opportunity to fuse it together with a acid chromatic orb or something?
You can certainly try.
I would like to certainly try.
roll whatever you need to roll for chromatic orb, which is an attack roll, right?
Yep. +6. 17.
17 hits. What's your damage? Are you doing this while it's closing, or are you doing this
I think I'll do it after it's closed.
after it's closed? Okay.
Yeah, just to like weld it in place. It's not bad.
Damn.
19.
19. You see it melt part of the stone, but it's mostly around the bottom underneath, basically where under the seal, under the seam in the two pieces.
Yep.
The top
That's
part
alright.
seems mostly unaffected.
Cool. I just want to severely damage its possibility of reopening.
It's eating away at the stone as it
Yeah.
goes, but it's a slow process.
Can I like scoop up as much dirt as possible and just kind of like cover it when he's done, so it's like least obvious that something's going on that?
What do you
Hide
mean?
it
What do you
There
mean
is
by
still, like-
cover it?
It's still
So, like-
Hunting blinds.
with it being all melted and stuff. You'd know that somebody's done something to the location, right?
Right, so
if
you're
we
just
cover
trying
it
to-
and make it look all dusty. We make it look old.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So once
Fresh.
I mean, Archibald's acid is still eating into it, and it's not going away anytime soon. So it's up to you if you want to just kind of chuck it on, or if you want to potentially take damage.
I think after a while I can stop it.
I want to just chuck it on.
The acid itself isn't necessarily magical.
Okay.
It's
the
pretty much
orb
what I'm
itself-
doing is I'm scooping up dirt and just going.
Okay,
Yeah.
you do so. Some of it sinks into the acid. It creates this brown sludgy thing, and it starts to adhere to the stone itself. You think it's potentially effective?
Cool.
That's more effective than if I hadn't done it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
Yeah. Should we head back same route we came?
Yep. How's the tiefling reacting to being outside?
Still babbling.
Okay.
Still
Maybe
going.
once we get it back to a more powerful source of Umbra. And that being said, let's get back to a more powerful source of Umbra. We continue along the road to Yoln. There are no
Okay.
issues when we get there.
If I still have battery power in the Umbral battery, I'm going to turn it off.
Yeah,
Okay.
for the journey, I'm going to turn my long life on.
Okay, you
Yep.
do so. Fenrir takes point as he has moved this route a few times now, and begins to lead the way back through the jungles of the Corin Peninsula. With that, we are going to go on break. So we'll be back in about 5 or 10 minutes, at which point we will run our usual chat break. If you have any questions for us,
Usual.
please, it's now usual, okay? If you have any questions for us, please leave them in chat. We will answer them on our break while we all eat, or most of us eat, or whoever.
Get ready for the mid-show after show.
Exactly
Starring
right.
the cast of Maxed and Doubled, including special guest to be announced.
If you have any
It's the
voice
ghost of Josh.
if you have any voice requests,
Yeah. Any requests or questions that you might have, please leave them in chat and we will answer them during our break when we get back. So, we'll see you soon. Go to the toilet, get something to eat yourself, whatever you might need.
Remind your
to
family you still exist.
do. Please remind your family you still exist. They're probably worried about you. And we'll see you shortly. Okay. That's weird. Sorry, guys. Apparently we didn't have sound. I don't know how that happened because everything should have been switched, but apparently it didn't.
I just did my announcer voice.
Yeah,
You're
I
gonna
know.
make me bounce it out again.
It's like it
Hold
didn't
on.
work properly anyway, right? So
Hold on, let me just. They called for the ghost of Josh to come here, but he wasn't available, so I guess you'll just have to deal with young Brick instead.
How did you know my plans for my secret reveal?
It
Howdy,
was
y'all.
obvious.
I'm Young Brick. I'm not in this campaign. However, I'm willing to answer any questions you got.
perfect.
I do know what I know, and if I don't know it, it is news to me, but I am looking forward to finding out what I know.
Welcome to everyone in chat. Hi, Kathy. You've just gotten home, I believe, from what I've heard. Of course, also Josh and Treb are in chat as well, I believe. We are going to be answering questions if you have them. Otherwise, we'll just be shit-talking each other. We are all currently eating, as you can see. I didn't have to pick that up because you can all see it right there. But we are eating, and so should you be. Take care of yourself, damn it. But Hannah will be back momentarily. She's off to get a Pop-Tart. In the meantime, do we have any questions? I'll have to check Twitch, which is going to blast loudly on my phone. No, it's not, because I fixed it. Please give me chat only. All right, so, Michael, can you read anything there? Is there a question in that chat from before I was able to get in here?
No, I can't read anything there.
I like how you didn't even look in that direction, but I will trust you.
Michael, what are you eating?
Michael, what are you eating?
The same thing we're all eating.
What are we all eating?
I guess you'd call this chili and pasta?
Yeah, kind of. It's basically Anna-safe spaghetti bolognese, or fusilli bolognese. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's Anna's classic mince, but doesn't have tomato in it because she can't eat tomato.
Back.
See,
Sorry.
we waved.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So, I made my Pop-Tarts, I'm sorry I'm late, and I get in here, and the first thing Jesse says is, don't spill them on your spell cards.
Please don't spill them on your spell cards. Please don't spill them on your spell cards. That was more Australian than anything else.
Okay.
How's your Pop-Tart?
But I'm back. Very hot. You know how I've got this habit of burning myself tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, burnt my finger on the toaster.
So you burnt your entire mouth. You've now burnt your finger. What else are you going to burn? Besides me. You burn me fairly often.
I don't know.
We have a couple of questions in chat.
Do we?
Yes.
Hey, Cherie. Hello. My mouth was full. I'm really rude.
Young Brick, apparently I know how to read.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to be reading the questions for you adventurers tonight. Young whippersnappers.
Please do. Please do.
Okay, so our second question is, Archibald, who taught you to read and write? I believe the technical term for my level of amnesia is like something I can't remember. However, which is rather fitting. However, I know how to speak, I know how to read, I know how to write, but I just don't have any of those identity features. I'm basically the born identity of D&D.
Yeah, pretty much.
The way I always thought of it was that once prompted to remember it, you would remember it. Like if you saw something in a language that you know, but you don't know you know, then you can read it. And you'd be like, I don't know that this is another language.
That's another way to think about it. I'm like Chuck from the hit TV show Chuck. I have the entire NSA and CIA database downloaded into my brain. I just have to find the files.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay, I have another question for all you adventurers. Fenrir can answer too. How's the weather where your characters are?
I like the implication that answer is going to be different for each of us.
Is it not?
Like,
Well,
I believe
Fenrir's
we're in the
6'5",
calm
so the
after
weather's
a
kind of cold.
storm, aren't
like
We're in the calm after a storm, aren't we?
yeah. Presumably, it's quite. Wait, this is a question for characters, so presumably it's quite humid, given
Well-
that we are in a jungle.
Mm-hmm.
He said that we were seeing sunlight, so apparently it's quite sunny.
It is.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
It's rather sunny. Very humid. The moisture in this jungle is ridiculous. Gives me absolute swamp ass and I hate it, but we gotta do what we gotta do.
I got a good remedy.
On the list
for
of
that
things I
in
didn't
after
need to
the
know,
show.
I did not need to know that Fenrir had
He is
swamp
from
ass.
the swamp, so... Wait,
I'm from the marsh.
Marsh.
How dare you?
next to the swamp.
Yeah, we are next to the swamp, behind the plains. We are the marsh.
I
Okay,
feel like there are so many puns hidden in that.
I will let you find them. I've hidden 12.
Even I don't know where they are.
Okay. Question from
I looked over
Sheree.
at chat at the wrong moment. Sorry.
No, you looked at exactly the right moment. So, question from Sheree. What's everyone's subclasses? Silkus, you start.
Silkus is a boring old enchantment wizard. He doesn't have any special homebrew or anything. Full on, no multi-classing wizard of enchantment. What about John?
So John is mostly barbarian. He's got 1 level in fighter. As barbarian, we are using this homebrewed version of the
Combination of the zealot,
that was
the path
yeah.
of the zealot, and also path of the clenched fist, which was an unearthed arcana thing, I think, or something that someone released.
Well, that just sounds
plus-
like a cheap rip-off of the monk subclass.
Pretty
Path
much.
of the open hand.
Pretty much. But yeah, I put together a
Why
homebrew
do I
class that
know
kind of
that?
combined all those things into a tavern brawler style of thing. It's called Path of the Brawler, which is, by the way, available on my Twitter if you'd like to check out the specifics of it.
It's
Archibald.
very cool. It even has a character depiction of John on it.
It does.
I went and looked, Oscar, because I'm brilliant.
You are. Who's next?
I'm an unearthed arcana ranger, beastmaster,
Fuck yeah.
with I'm multi-classed with 2 levels in druid.
Yeah.
Does that mean you've got a circle? Yep.
Yes, moon circle.
Yes.
Perfect.
Very cool.
Perfect.
It's alright, forgot about that part. I've never done druid before.
That's alright.
Moon circle is best circle.
Absolutely.
Archibald is
Makes me want to sing moon shadow.
Archibald is a lore master wizard. Basically, I decided I'm going to be the character that knows everything and nothing at the same time.
I love it.
I don't know what I know until I roll, and then invariably I know it. One of my favorite things about the class is its double proficiencies
Yeah.
in Arcana History and Investigation.
And medicine, isn't it? If you had medicine proficiency in the first place.
I did.
You
not.
could have up to 4 expertises. It's insane. Also, the ability to
now
change
some
spells.
of your roll levels are making sense, you know, like getting like 27s and
Yeah.
things. And
Yeah, he's rolling 27s on like an 18. It's not even.
On the 19.
Well. It's not even like rolling natural 20s and getting 27s. It's beyond that point. It's ridiculous.
Question from Theophania. I guess I have a question. If the players could ask their characters one question, what would they ask? And by that, I mean the
The
people
other
in MAD
characters.
asking the Calamity Hunters. So you can ask any question to any character, and they have to answer honestly, unless you're Silkus, in which case we'll make something up.
Well, you don't have to answer honestly, but if you have a question as us for any of the characters. in
I have
MAD.
a question, but
What's
it's
the
kind of as us / as character right now.
Sure.
Are we keeping the Myconid?
So that's
Because-
to everyone.
You guys have Myconid too?
Yeah,
That's
he
cool.
looks just like Shroom.
Oh,
It's great.
that's very cool.
Even like when we found him, he didn't have a cape on, but it kind of looked like he had a cape on. It was really cool.
Nice. I would like to keep them micro. It makes the game a little bit more fun, knowing that there is something that Josh absolutely hates.
With I don't know why he hates it, but he does.
Yeah, it's bizarre. He's hated mushrooms ever since that one bad trip into the Underdark.
He's hating shrooms. Yeah. Okay.
Like, I think I would like to keep him. I'm like looking forward to the point where he gets some more individuality, even if like we never expect him to participate in combat.
Yeah. It would be great if one day he just participated in combat. We didn't know he was up to that point yet.
And I would love it if it was like, but not like stabbing someone, but it was just like he like scurries off of Sariel's back, disappears for a few rounds, and then like a giant rock rolls down a hill and crushes someone. Just like, yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's gonna happen. It has to happen. Maybe not soon, but it has to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a question for any of the characters as a player?
This is like definitely a difficult one.
You see, the problem is, I know everything that Archibald knows. Quite literally.
Oh yeah.
I
he
know
does.
the extent of Archibald's knowledge at this moment in time. However, no, don't have one. Young Brick doesn't have one either. I thought Young Brick might have a question for Sariel, but
Really?
yeah,
Doesn't?
apparently not.
Like,
Right.
He's not a very inquisitive chap.
To be fair,
like
he's actively gone down in intelligence since he was created. So
He has. Quite
Does
literally, he
Sariel,
knows
like-
less now.
yeah.
does Sariel like actually want to be spending time around Fenrir? Because it's clear that Sariel both hates and kind of like cares a lot about Fenrir. So I'm kind of curious.
She's kind of. It's like, you know how, I don't know. Do you have any older brothers, Michael?
Yes, but I don't really
Okay.
hate him.
Yeah, but you know how like the relationship with your brother, you're kind of like, man, my brother's so cool for like ages, and then you're just like, oh, can you just get out of my room? She's kind of a bit like that with him, but she also has really mixed feelings. Like, her feelings, though they are in that sense kind of familial, like family kind of feelings,
Yeah.
she's also really confused because at the same time he's the only like adult male figure she had for a really long time, so she crushed on him as well. And then
Yeah.
he just up and fucking left her, so she's just like pissed about that. Pissed that she missed him. Pissed that she missed him. Like, pissed at herself for missing him.
And missing the arrow too.
Yeah. And then, so, like, she's really, really, really happy to be around him again. And I think the best way to see that is to see how Sulfur reacts with him, because that's what she's doing inside.
Yeah.
But
Remind me.
outwardly, she's kind of like, ooh, you poopy head. 'Cause, yeah.
So
That's
Remind
kind of
me,
how I
like-
treat Oscar, so...
How
It kinda works.
old is Sariel again in terms of
She's-
growth to adulthood? Because she does kind of sound
So
like a
half-
17-year-old for a half elf.
Yeah, so half-elves only become adults at 20. She's 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
he was with her from 12 through to about 17.
Okay.
So
He
she-
is
Puberty,
five?
all
He's
that
5
kind of
years
stuff,
older
he
than her.
was right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it weird for you now, Sariel. Theophania asks, "Is Sariel in love with Fenrir?" I can't read.
Like,
Leave me alone.
It's kind of like half yes and half not. Like, if she's in love with him, she has not admitted that to herself in any way, shape, or form, but she does love him. So the fact that she kind of got pushed aside for whatever fucking reason, because she was only really young, you know, she's angry about it, but she does love him.
Yeah.
Alright.
Hey.
Alright.
Well, I think it's about time I fucked off back to the marsh.
I think so too, young Brick.
Okay, bye.
Easiest goodbye ever. We've never had an easier one. We're pretty much done eating. I think what we'll do is I might
I'm
collect
not,
everyone's
but
plates.
it's because I was.
You can all shit talk for a moment. Maybe if there's anyone else who has questions in chat, these guys can shit talk about it.
Does anyone have a question for young Brick? No? Okay.
I was kind of got a point. I hadn't really thought that through. I think it was more like
Ooh.
Thank you.
I think it was more like she was jealous that there was this easy communication between them that Korma knew all about her, but she'd never heard of Korma.
Yeah.
And that because Sariel grew up in the forest nearby, it's kind of like, really? You came all the way to Fredatown but couldn't come see me?
Yeah.
To be fair, he has some good reasons, and I feel like he has explained them, but...
Yeah, no, I was responding to Anna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for our chat break. We're going to get back into it. Thank you everyone for your questions. Thank you everyone for being here in chat. Continue to ask questions in chat if you like. You can also go over to our Twitter up there and send us your questions, or join our Discord, which has been linked in chat. All of those places are great places, and we will collate all questions that we receive between sessions. Of course, the next 2 sessions are not happening. We are skipping 2 weeks to have a break while people spend time with their families, people are overseas, all kinds of stuff. But we'll be back in 3 weeks, and any questions you have in the meantime, we will answer them. So, let's get back to the action, shall we? The Calamity Hunters have...
I'm up here now.
Yeah, you are. The Calamity Hunters have exited the dungeon in which they fought Pestilence initially, and are now following Fenrir back along his original scouting routes out of the Corin Peninsula. So as you begin your journey with Fenrir out the front, leading the way, you start to make your way into the jungle proper once more, where the canopy is much darker, and whereas previously the ruins were open to the sky, you're now heading into the jungle. Could I please have somebody roll a D100 for me?
Yes, I'm good at these.
You say that, but then you get angry at your D100 rolls.
Just wait.
Guys, do you want to know something funny?
What's that?
So I just cut out all these cards, and this one says encode thoughts. And I was like, this isn't mine. Okay, so everything else is my spell, but the name is encode thoughts.
Oh.
That's
I
exciting.
think we may have a mistake that's happened in...
Oh no.
Oh no, me and Anna were just talking about it, and I wanted to explain why I randomly laughed when you guys were rolling. Sorry.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of funny,
I'm gonna change the
45.
name.
45.
Ooh.
Okay. In that case...
the main reason I get angry at my D100 rolls is because I want my one to activate, because it makes it life interesting.
It does make life interesting, that is for sure. So...
It's easy to fix. I'm just gonna twink it.
Okay, so as you begin to make your way back into the jungle here, as the canopy gets a bit darker and you're trudging along this path that you had previously travelled down, you start to hear the skittering around you. You've heard this before. This was the sound of some insect-like creatures, small ones, that seemed to be roaming in a group, a pack of some sort, and you encountered them previously just before you met the Myconids. As you're making your way forward, the skittering happens and you're starting to catch glimpses of their kind of lightish brown exoskeleton as they go between trees, and you're noticing them kind of closing in around you.
I am
When
going
you
to...
say insect-like, what kind of scale are these?
They're relatively small. They're not the size of the arcades you fought. They're a little bit smaller than sulfur.
Okay.
So they're not
They're
tiny
not,
little
they're
bugs.
not a swarm. But
And they're not
yeah.
a swarm, but they are ground-based
Okay.
insect-like creatures.
Yeah.
I would like to have a look at them and make sure none of them are going to rust anything that we got.
Make an Arcana check for me.
Hells yes. You sure you don't want it to be nature?
I'm sure.
Okay. I'm worse at nature, by the way.
I know.
Just to let you know.
I know.
24.
24.
I love this modifier.
You've never heard of a rust monster in your life.
Okay, that's fine.
But these don't look magical in nature.
Cool. So we're just fighting 100 dog-sized ants. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's just get
Dog-sized ants.
let's just get out of the way of the rad roaches.
Yes, we're in Fallout now.
How
Well,
long
it
were we
doesn't
down
actually
there?
surprise me too much.
That was actually the vault that you guys were in.
Well, duh.
So if you're intending to avoid them, how are you doing so?
With great care. I think I'm just going to keep tabs on where they are, and I'm just going to ready Thunderwave if I need it.
Oh, that was a terrible
Gross.
noise. Okay.
Yeah. John's gonna
Was that me that made that
pull
noise?
out the
No,
wand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
pull out his wand, as yet unused.
Oh man.
Oh, right.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I forgot when you say wand, you mean shiving stick.
Yes, exactly. It briefly,
It's just
I
like
had the same thing.
Are you just gonna troll from Harry Potter 1 this thing just straight up its nose?
this would be a better trick if we were fighting against creatures that understood what wands were usually used for, but whatever works.
Okay, so you're readying the wand, the
Yes.
shiv. You're just keeping tabs. Roll a perception check for me. Sariel, what are you doing in this time?
I will ready an arrow. Like, notch an arrow. Get ready to shoot at things if they come at me. I don't like bugs.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a mental note to gather some sort of herbal ingredients to make some sort of bug spray.
Okay.
And Silkus is gonna cast Mage Armor.
Okay, he does that. So take that spell slot
Archibald
off.
gets a
Yeah.
23.
Oh, and I'm going to take off Archibald's cloak so that the Myconid can see.
Damn. What the how are you rolling so well now? What the fuck? It's like those tiny dice last week just completely flipped the switch for you. Jeez. So, you continue on. You're watching out for them. In that time, you notice that they have closed into a certain kind of distance from you, but they're skittering around and keeping distance. You count over this period of time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There seem to be 7 of these creatures skittering around, making very small kind of creaky noises as they move, and
7 of these.
occasionally you'll see one scale a tree, hop, and then disappear behind a tree, and it will appear later out in front of you. But they don't seem to encroach too far on your party. You gather maybe
I
they
think
are.
they're curious.
You gather maybe they're either curious or scared of the size of the party, or there's something to do with the party that they don't want, or any of those factors.
Alright.
As you continue forward, someone else roll a D100 for me.
Oh.
Could be you, or could be anyone really.
10s, 3, 1s is off the table.
Whoa!
and-
How did that happen?
Did you cock it?
He cocked the hell out of it. There you go.
39.
39. Okay.
We're all doing real well. We just need 100 and then we get through this storm. I reckon if you roll a 100 on a wild magic surge, You should get one use of the wish spell, no matter your level.
Oh damn! That
Oh,
seems
wow.
fucking powerful.
I
mean,
feel like
'cause
that
it
would
is
be
powerful.
a
Doesn't-
case where
doesn't-
it
doesn't
should
the
be that you don't
100,
know that you do, and then you just say "I wish" and it happens.
Yeah.
100
that'd be
is so.
funnier.
100 is actually so disappointing. It just gives you all your spell slots back.
Which
It's-
is all, which
I
is
will
like
take
it's
that.
pretty
That's part
good.
of wish.
It's good, but it's real disappointing. I have to say.
Like I think I
It
don't know,
seems anticlimactic.
Yeah.
like 1 to 2 is definitely a more interesting result than the 100 result,
I love that. Oh, I love it so much.
which is by the
Why? What's that result?
that's roll on this table every turn for a minute.
Oh yeah.
That's the one that Michael
Oh.
got. Okay. As you continue forward again, the insect-like creatures continue milling around you, but never quite encroach.
Are they moving in packs of 3?
No.
Okay.
They seem to be all together.
Do they have
and just-
spears?
No. They have exoskeletons.
They're
They
not
have very
tricrine. It's
Thank you.
okay.
yeah, they're not tricrine. But
Now I have
Archibald,
even
with your
less.
perception check, you start to.
Are they tiny Tarasques?
I wish. I wish. You start to hear, and Sariel, with your passive perception as well, the two of you start to hear wings overhead. The swoosh around.
So
it seems to
are
be a
they-
fairly low flying.
Big wings? Or...
I'm gonna put my hood up because I don't want anything pulling my hair.
Okay, it's
Big wings?
magpies. It's a swarm of magpies.
I don't know. It could be. You just said wings. You did not say bug wings.
Are they fluttering like gossamer?
Not
or
fluttering.
are they
They seem
Buzzing?
to be a.
big, purposeful dragon-like?
They
Are
seem
we
to
getting
be.
into the second half of the game?
Yeah, exactly. They seem to be beating slowly and regularly. They're not fluttering like a dragonfly or anything. They don't seem insect-like.
Okay, what about a dragon flying?
A dragon flying very well could be. As you
Is it
start
loud
to hear
enough
the
be
whoosh.
a wyvern?
Occasionally, it will get relatively close, and you hear the whoosh, and the trees around you will shake a little bit. And then you catch a glimpse of behind you and up in the air. You see what looks to be quite a large, colourful bird gaining altitude.
Oh, cool. It's Ho-Oh.
It is Ho-Oh. As you continue forward, it levels out, and then
It's
you
a
watch as it
gigantic
starts
parrot.
to descend rapidly towards you.
At us?
Seems like
I'ma
it.
shoot it.
I would like to cast a spell on it.
So it is currently a couple 100 feet away,
That's
so you
a-
can shoot it, but with disadvantage.
That's okay.
But can I have advantage because it hasn't acted yet?
You're not in combat, so no.
Alright.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try and shoot it.
Go for it. Disadvantage.
I need my law master breaking page.
16.
16.
Damn it. Damn it.
You do manage to hit. Roll your attack. Roll your damage, and that includes your extra for the. Oh wait, no, never mind. You don't have extra on that. It's only if it's injured, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, roll your damage.
I'm just gonna be like
Five.
holding.
5.
I'm just holding my arms up, ready for ready for it to get within range, and when it gets within like 100 feet,
Yeah.
I'd like it to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay. That's 5. It begins its dive. Sariel, as you send an arrow up after it, it sinks
are you
into.
holding your hands up or are you
It
holding
kind
your
of
wand up?
whizzes past and
Hands.
grazes one of its
Okay,
wings, and you
Iron
watch it
Man
falter.
style.
You watch it falter quite just briefly, but it tucks in its wings and dives even faster towards you. As you're seeing it get
I
closer,
think I pissed it off.
as you're seeing it get closer, you gauge the distance from how far it is, and you watch it's getting bigger and bigger.
Yep, and then I'm gonna Iron Man repulsor blast it with lightning bolt.
Okay. You do so. It gets within 100 feet, and you release the lightning bolt.
Dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh dear.
That is a 6.
No.
Well and truly fails.
First 8d6 of the game. Guess I roll a 4. Oh my god.
Oh shit!
So that's 20.
Okay.
32.
Wow.
32 points of lightning damage. Total 37, if you were wondering.
Yeah. No, that much I had gathered. Thank you. Okay, as Archibald, you gauge the distance, and as it gets to fairly close, you've probably missed the 100-foot mark, but you're just being safe. You release that lightning bolt, and you all watch as it shoots up, crackling into the sky, and connects directly with this diving bird, which screeches and suddenly banks off to the right-hand side and flies out of view. And you hear it flying, and then eventually lose sound of it. You lose all sight or sound of it.
Whoa.
Oh, that was dramatic.
I haven't seen that one before.
Neither
I'm
have
gonna
I.
like go. I skipped it off. You know how people are like, I loosened the jar?
Yeah.
With that, you actually all notice that the only umbral access you have is now gone. As you seem to have drained the battery that John was using.
I'll turn on mine.
Okay. You do so. So, John, you have 1 battery remaining.
Yep.
Of the slow release kind.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
And you've turned on yours. So, you begin heading
Actually,
further
I'm
and further
gonna-
forward. You don't hear
I'm
no
gonna
sign.
I'm gonna keep mine off until something else rears its ugly head. Then I'll turn it back on real quick.
Okay.
Because I can get spells. I can get a couple of spells off without umbral access, but not many. So I'll just wait until we need it.
Okay.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
continue
rather than
on,
having it drain out.
Yeah.
and at this point, it's starting to get quite dark.
So did the bugs leave us at some point?
They're still kind of skittering around. The noise from what's just happened has kind of sent them further away. But as you
Are we
continue
back near the
moving for a bit,
market?
they kind of come back and are still milling around. What
Yeah.
was that, Sarah?
Are we back near the Myconids?
You're getting pretty close, yes. As it starts to get dark and you lose... The humans start to lose the ability to see very far ahead.
If I remember correctly, the bugs left us alone when we got to the Myconids.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. I'm just gonna.
Make a perception check, Archibald.
Yes. I love perception checks.
What are you doing?
15.
15.
I'm gonna think. Actually, I don't have one. Hey, Archibald. Do
Yep.
you mind lighting a torch?
Sure.
Presto.
I'm just
You
like, I'm gonna light it. I don't have any. Never mind.
Okay. You light the torch.
Yep.
And
I don't turn my umbral battery on to do it.
Okay, so
I'll
you-
just use a charge from my tattoos.
Okay.
There go all my fire spells.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know.
So I'm just gonna like, when this happens, look at them like, are you serious? And pull out a tinderbox like,
So you light the torch and you hand it over. And as you do, you're looking around and you're realizing that as the darkness is setting in, those insect-like creatures are gathering in closer and closer. You light the torch and a couple of them skitter away a bit further.
Okay.
I think I just wanna. Actually, yeah. Let's press on through the night till we get to the Myconids and hope they'd leave.
I mean, they left us alone when we were with the Myconids last time. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of would like to drop Wee Buddy off. If we're gonna leave him
Yeah.
back with, like, if we're gonna leave him behind, I kind of want to leave him with his people.
Yeah.
Okay, roll one more D100 for me. As it starts to get dark.
It's your turn.
There you go.
I don't like this.
Alright, I'll do it.
No, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it. It's a like percentile and a D10, right?
Yes.
Yep.
That's right.
Just how often I freaking do that. 13.
13. Wow, a 13? On a D100? Jesus. I was like, 13,
just
that's
roll.
alright. Oh, wait.
Could have just rolled a
10.
D10. 20.
And 3.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Alright then.
That's why I said it's like, oh no.
As you start to
Surely
approach
got it.
where you know the Myconid camp is, and Sariel, because you can't get lost. by
Oh,
Sariel,
they're gonna be gone.
You know that the Myconid camp is coming up.
They had to move. There wasn't much room.
Ah ha 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 ha.
Win! Kick him out! Kick him out! Go!
Ha
Alright, I'll leave.
ha ha.
Banned from chat.
If you kick me out of here, I will be in chat.
Here we go.
You're fired, dude. That was bad.
Fair enough.
Let's see here. What do I want?
You are no longer on the
That's what I want.
Myconid fatherly figure list.
You.
I'll let you tell
Who's leading? Fenrir leading. Who's after Fenrir?
I imagine I'd be leading if I'm the one that wouldn't be getting lost.
Okay, so you and Fenrir are up front. Sariel, roll a
Yeah, I'll be up back. Yeah.
roll a perception check for me real quick.
Seven.
Awesome.
7.
Marisha Ray is not doing me any favors
So
today.
you guys are walking through the jungle here, through the trees, and you. The bird is gone. The insect-like creatures are still milling around, but seem to have moved further away. You know that you're approaching the Myconid settlement, and you pass through a clearing or two, and then you come across this one clearing, and you begin to pass through it, and the whole group is moving through this relatively narrow space at the end of the clearing.
Oh, I forgot about the humanoid trees.
When
6 of us.
yes, there are.
Oh, awesome.
Being
Only one
very
gets
small
attacked.
for a new population.
When
7 if you include the Myconid.
when suddenly in front
My
of
mistake.
Fenrir, vines just shoot out and block the path.
Well, that can only be a good sign.
Immediately afterwards, I'm going to.
Hey, John. You remember asking me if I'm against having this forest burned down?
I do remember that. I'm guessing your opinion's changing a bit.
A little.
Upon hearing
I'm
that,
gonna-
I turn on my
bugs.
onboard battery.
I turn. Yeah. I'll turn on my
Oh.
spare.
Because
Just
you're in the back, so
you
I'm pretty
have
much
yours
like
on,
kind of
mine's not for
shouting as
spellcasting.
across the
Okay.
clearing.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Just that's okay. We have spares.
Yeah, I get my presto. I get my presto tattoos back. I can solve this with that.
Immediately after the vines block the path ahead of you, you watch Sariel as a couple of very narrow, almost like pine needles, but they are solid, shoot out next to Fenrir and hit him, dealing
3 to 6 poison damage. You want some D8s?
no
D4s?
for, there it is.
If it is poison damage, don't forget
Wow,
you
not
had that
much.
necklace on, John.
Yeah. Thank you.
Only dealing 4 damage to him, but it shoots out and kind of embeds itself in his neck, which his hand automatically goes up to kind of cover the wound. I would like everyone to roll initiative.
I'm good at
please.
that.
You are actually, aren't you? Because you have alert.
Yeah. 20. Unnatural.
Oh, that's not
Okay.
great.
I rolled a 12.
You're fucking. That is ridiculous. That is insane.
I meant to be competent.
Yeah, I know.
Not trying to min-max, I just did.
Holy fuck!
You've got to be shitting me.
2 natural 20s
Well,
and a
you've
14.
got to re-roll one of those.
Oh wow. Okay. That's insane.
Make one of those 20s Fenrir and I'm good with it.
I'm pretty sure Fenrir rolled a 14.
I have a particular die I use for Fenrir, and yeah.
Is it a purple die?
So
It's got purple writing.
It's not a purple dye, doesn't count.
It's covered in grey with purple writing, like
Nah.
like Fenrir's
Nah.
heart is.
Nah, it's gotta be purple with grey writing.
Okay, 25 to 20, please.
Unnatural 20.
Unnatural.
Do you know what I really don't like?
What's that?
The wizard rolls better than the ranger.
In my
20 to
defense-
15, please.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. It's me and then 3 things. In my defense.
15 to 10.
10.
Oh wow. Oh
all
wow.
had
You've,
the
have you rolled for sulfur?
Yours was a 7. It's not great.
10 to 5. 7 for sulfur.
7 for Silkus at 10 dex, so afterwards.
Yes.
And,
5 to 0.
5 for
Wow.
John.
Okay. Wow. That was a hell of a roll for you all, wasn't it?
Yep.
Archibald, you see all this happen from your spot in the middle of the group as Fenrir's hand shoots up, and you have a pretty good passive perception. You can see that the vines seem to be attached to some almost humanoid-shaped tree figure.
Mm-hmm.
The needle was shot out of the right-hand side of the foliage, but you also notice around you things starting to shift.
I'm going to. So, do we want to burn down this place or not?
I mean, I don't really want to destroy the Myconid's home, but I wouldn't mind you burning down these freaking vines. Do you have something that can put it out to make it not reach the
Are
Myconid place? Or
Are the vines like wooden or are they?
They're green. They're
green.
Um,
Okay, so they're fresh.
I can
Yeah.
probably help with that if we need be. I think fire might be our best weapon here.
All right, cool. I
I'm assuming
light
it's
up
so
burning
sorry.
hands.
okay.
I look around. You do not want to do this. Let us go, and this will be the worst thing that happens to you. At the vine wall.
here I was picturing him like running
Okay.
around trying to high five.
So
everything
you
while
step
on fire.
forward to get clear of Fenrir
Yep.
and release the burning hands. Roll your that's a dexterity save. Isn't
It is.
Roll your damage.
Okay. Alright, 15. Fire damage.
15 fire damage.
The fire ignites any flammable objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried.
Fantastic. Could you also please roll 2d4?
Yeah.
Tell me what each one is.
Is whatever this is classed as an animal or classed as a plant?
1 and
3
a 3.
and
I
1.
guess probably a plant, but we don't know exactly what's attacking us yet.
I was just thinking because the Myconid's class as a plant, I can't speak with animals on it.
You watch as the foliage ahead of you lights up. The vines kind of wither away, but the thing that's attached to them doesn't seem to die. Something off to your left that just barely catches just goes vroom, and ashes on the ground. And then just behind it, the vine wall off to your right, another one shifts out now on fire. That looks like the one that was attached to the vines as well.
Alright.
And those two seem to still be alive, but are now aggravated. Is that your turn?
I'm going to draw my wand.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna like give everything that's attacking us / going for us the eye. Are you sure you want to do
Giving
this?
everything the stink eye.
I would like to intimidate them.
Roll intimidation.
Oh. It's okay. It's okay, guys. I got this. 8.
8.
Can I
Hey, that's more
intimidate with
intimidating.
You're not
Hey.
sure if it's being taken, if your words have been taken into account. You're not sure. Up next is their turn, as the two ahead of you, kind of the one steps out next to the other one, and they're moving relatively slowly, but they're faster than you think a planet should be. As it steps out and its vine-like tendrils kind of dig into the ground and then rip up some dirt, dig into the ground again, and they both take attacks at you and Fenrir.
Okay, but they're gonna miss, so what's the point?
Okay. Versus you versus Fenrir. That's cocked.
That's cocked.
That was not cocked. That is a 16 to hit you and a 20 to hit Fenrir, so
Just hits.
both hit. Which does 7 damage to you.
Oh no.
Do you have
And
the
12
same
damage to
armor class
Fenrir.
as Silkus?
No. I've got a much better armor class than Silkus.
Well, not right now. You do.
Silkus. Oh. It's the same.
No, you cast mage armor,
No.
don't you?
Silk's AC right now is 13.
And the two of you are both grappled in vines that now wrap around you.
No.
You are restrained as well.
I refuse.
So,
That's fine.
another group as well from behind. Sariel, what is your armor class?
What did you roll?
I rolled a natural 14 plus 3, that's 17.
It hits.
Okay, as a needle flies into the back of your neck, dealing 7 damage, 7 piercing damage, and John, where are you in the marching order?
Right at the back.
Right at the back. Does 15 hit you?
Yes, it does.
It does, as another needle flies into your back, dealing a total of 8 points of piercing damage. And as you spin and see two little, they look like almost tumbleweeds,
Yeah.
but they're kind of given more
Are we
humanoid
fighting
form.
Tangela?
That's funnily enough what I was going to say, and I didn't even realize it. I was going to say Tangela, but no, it does not look like Tangela. They look like tumbleweeds. Really sharp twigs seem to make up these little humanoid beings. They're very small, but they are shooting little needles at you that are digging into your flesh. Which brings us to Fenrir's turn. He's going to attempt to escape the grapple. With an actual 17, he does. He breaks out of the grapple. That's his action. And he can't do much else. He's not going to move away from the current point because he wants to make sure he's up there at the front ready to take anything from these two vine things. Sariel, it is your turn.
I'm going to spin around and Hunter's mark the one that freaking needled me.
Okay. Go for it. Roll your attack.
Well, has it? Oh, it has taken an action, so I don't get advantage. Never mind. Is it injured? No.
No, not injured.
Fuck. 21.
Hits. What's your damage?
That's pretty good. 12.
12 damage. Okay.
12.
Good to know. You shoot this arrow and it pierces right through, and just a whole chunk of its side shatters. It just splinters outwards as the arrow pierces right through and embeds itself in the ground behind it. It is now moving rather awkwardly towards you as it's trying to shoot
I'd like
its needles
to
at you.
see that it shatters.
You hear it and you turn around and see it, and you see the
Yeah.
splinters flying everywhere.
Excellent. I'm gonna
Is that your
remember
turn, Sariel?
Yeah.
Okay, it is Sulphur's turn.
She gon' bite it.
She's gonna bite. Okay, roll her attack.
Is anything within 5 feet?
No allies within 5 feet of it at the moment.
So she does not get advantage.
Unless
okay.
she's going for
it
one of the
needs
ones
to
in front.
succeed on a DC 11. Is it strength save?
Yes,
Okay, that.
it succeeds.
And she rolls a 17 to hit it.
17 hits. Roll your damage.
Ooh. What's that plus? Plus. Okay, it's plus 2. 7.
7. As
That's
Sulfur
as
bites
high.
down on it, she actually crunches it in half, and the twigs that make it up just kind of fall apart onto the
I want
ground.
to note that as a canine, she's extremely happy to be snapping twigs.
Yes, absolutely. This is very fun for her.
She's just like, oh my god, why did we not fight stuff like this more often? Crunch, 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 crunch.
It's so much better than that horse.
Yes,
If only we had rapport spores on.
exactly. That's her turn.
Yeah.
She would have enough movement to move to the other one if she wanted to.
No, she's just gonna like stare at the other one and munch its buddy.
Okay, cool.
You know.
Silkus. What is Silkus going to
Okay, so is there like a cluster of them that Silkus can see?
do? Roll a perception check.
Ooh. I know what this is.
11. Wait, sorry, no, 12. Go on. Yeah.
And
12. There does seem to be another cluster that hasn't quite moved yet on the other side of the clearing.
Okay. Ice knife.
Ice knife. Okay, at the cluster,
Nice.
go for it. Roll your attack roll for me.
That wasn't great. I believe his attack is
What did you say that they looked
12.
like before?
12. Could you roll 5 d4s for me? Do you need d4s?
Yes.
I like
I'm trying
how
to think
these
of the
things
weird
are
ones.
I've got
paper.
2d4s already.
Oh, okay. Then have
There you go.
another 2.
Oh, fine.
You can have that one too. There you go.
Okay.
Where is that other d4 on that one?
Okay. Needs to know individuals.
Okay, am I summoning them or giving individual?
Giving individual, please.
Okay. So 4, 2, 3, 3, 3.
Good lord.
Sounds like you're
Okay.
giving him your phone number.
Roll your damage, please.
If Oscar doesn't have it by this point,
And
he's doing something wrong.
this is including the explosion for everything.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be like the first people on my contacts list when I get.
Yeah, excellent. We better be.
Yeah. So
Come on.
let's see. 5 damage at the one that I was aiming at, and so they're making saving throws. So it is
So 5 initial damage, yeah.
5 initial damage and 5 cold damage for the saving throw.
For the saving throw. Okay. Silkus lets out this ice knife. It flies over, pierces into what looks to be another creature made of vine, embeds itself in, and then explodes. And this whole cluster is just frozen over as a couple of them look like more of the spiky twig ones just shatter. A couple others kind of slither to the ground, and the vine one has just a huge hole in its chest as it kind of slumps forward. Is that Silkus' turn?
Yeah, that's going to be Silkus' turn.
It is now John's turn.
Okay, so John's going to.
You've still got the 2 vine ones up ahead that
Yeah.
are currently engaging with Fenrir and Archibald.
And is there anything still behind us?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
It's alright, we're fine.
Mm.
It's okay, we're fine.
That is a 9.
You don't see anything behind you at this point. You only see the ones ahead.
Okay, so yeah, it's gonna rage,
Okay.
rush forwards, and just almost like about to swing, get. No, never mind that. That's a terrible thing. There's very few sports which involve swinging at something with a run up.
That's true.
Golf?
I mean,
Polo on horses.
Yeah, I guess that.
you go to a
that is-
polo swing. Let's go.
He's
Happy Gilmore
John's
this, man.
How do you Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore.
Happel Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
He's gonna run up and just smack one of those vine things with his torch.
Okay. Roll your attack for me.
Oh!
Okay. You miss as Archibald's struggling to get out of this restraint. He actually yanks it forward at the last moment as you see John just in your peripherals start to come forward, and you realize that you've yanked it out of his reach, and you swing just wide. Some of the embers kind of catch on it, but it doesn't light.
Yeah.
Is that your turn? You've used a bonus action to rage, so...
Looking at the way that Archibald is kind of pointing his wand in my direction, I will try and back off of them a bit.
Okay, you move away. It does not get an opportunity attack because it's currently restraining him. So, that brings us back to Archibald. It's your turn. You are currently restrained.
I warned you. I'm gonna Misty Step to the top of this group, motherfucker.
Can you cast spells while restrained?
Yeah,
You
doesn't
can.
say anything about it not being able
good.
to.
Just curious.
Yeah.
I will read. Speed drops to 0. Attacks have disadvantage. Enemy attacks have advantage. Dex saving throws have disadvantage.
There you go. So
Okay.
you Misty Step.
I Misty Step on top of this Groot-looking motherfucker.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna point my wand on top of its head,
Yeah.
like directly down
Yeah.
while I'm holding onto it.
Okay.
I did warn you that it could be worse, and I cast Shatter at 3rd level.
Oh, fuck. Through the wand. Okay, roll
Make a con saving throw.
your D100 first.
Okay. 22.
22. One doesn't activate, but you do cast Shatter, so you use your spell slot, and that's a con saving throw.
Yep.
And this will affect the other one too, so that's a 13.
Does not.
And the other one, cocked, would have been a 1. That also fails.
Cool.
So both fail.
They take 15 points of thunder damage.
15 points of thunder damage, huh?
Inorganic material such as stone, crystal, or metal has disadvantage on the saving throw. That would.
What did you say? 15?
Yeah.
Another 15. As you cast Shatter, this also affects you, does it not? Since you're in this range?
He's also
Probably.
standing on top of the thing he
A
cast.
small price to pay.
It's fine, it looks cool.
Okay. So you also take the damage. However, this blows apart the vines of both of them, and the vines just limply fall to the ground.
Excellent.
You are now all out of combat,
Yeah, I take
as you also fall to the ground after taking the shatter damage.
22. That's fine, I'm fine. I'm still up.
You go for a, yeah.
I would have been down last session, but I'm fine now.
All right. So,
I want to, roll real gracefully down. Oh,
roll an acrobatics check for me.
I'll
be right back.
I want to slide down this thing. Oh no, I don't. Never mind.
Okay, so how far down it do you get doing the cool slide before your foot slips?
I
Like,
think it
gets
just
caught on a knot
explodes
and
and I land on my ass.
You're just like, yeah, I'm gonna
I love how you're just like, it looks cool, it's fine, and then you land on your butt and probably hurt your tailbone going, for a minute afterwards.
Welcome to Cosmos. I have assumed direct control. Oscar
Bring
cannot stop me
back
now.
Wreck or riot.
Okay, so you find yourselves waking up in the hall of Cosmos.
I'm first. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna make sure that my loot is intact. I don't want it to get damaged.
Okay. Your
it was
3
a bit of
gold
a fall.
pieces is fine.
Okay, cool.
Yep. What is Quinn doing?
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Bring back Breck!
Oh god.
I can't tell whether that was a deliberate misunderstanding or not.
Okay. So,
It wasn't.
so
It's him.
as you hit yourself
No,
with
I
your own
meant
shatter,
loot.
you just kind of go flying and land flat on your
It
back,
wasn't.
winding yourself as you hit the ground, the hard packed
Oh, that hurt.
ground.
But
But
I'm fine.
you are now out of combat, and in about half an hour of travel more, you reach the Myconid camp, as it is now fully dark. But you find them.
Before we head off, I'm gonna just grab onto one of those curly vines and coil it and stuff it in my backpack.
Okay.
I'm assuming
do
they're
so.
kind of theyorny.
They're not thorny.
No?
They're just pretty hardy vines. And so you do so. You can add a length of. Let's say you add 10 feet.
10 feet of vinyl wraps.
Yeah, 10 feet of vine to your inventory there.
Yeah.
You find the Myconids. You're setting up camp.
Oh,
Yes, and I'm going to try and just using my hands get the myconid off my back because after 2 or 3 days it's getting uncomfortable.
Yeah, you've sweated under it, and it's really not pleasant. But
I'm
okay.
growing real fungus under the fungus.
Yeah, you are. Are. So you remove Shroom 2.0 from your back.
And I'm gonna kind of indicate to him that look, it's home. Do you want to go home? And see what he does.
I really wanted to just straight up hug you.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll for this because I want to make this as unbiased as possible. Let's say the higher the result, the better for you all.
What does that mean?
31.
Ooh, that's better for Silkus.
Shroom 2.0.
I'm okay with it.
Shroom 2.0 jumps out of your hands.
You don't know what he's about to do yet.
Shroom 2.0 jumps out of your hands and wanders very slowly into the settlement, the Myconid settlement here.
Father, I have returned from my travels.
Begin milling around with the rest. You watch as the sovereign, the large bipedal one that you saw, the biggest of them all, wanders over, and you will see the rapport spores go out. They don't affect you at this distance, but you see them go out, and obviously the two are conversing for some time before they both part ways again, and the Shroom 2.0 begins milling around with the group once more. Keeps looking over at you, but seems happy enough there in the little clearing with them.
Yeah.
Hey, Sovereign, I killed that pestilence guy that you wanted me to. These guys think that they did it, but they don't know the real truth.
Okay. So you set up camp as all this happens.
Yeah.
Are we taking a watch?
I am going to ask Silkus to cast alarm.
The dead or white, please.
I thought you can cast on.
I can, but I don't want to steal too much of his thunder.
Yeah.
We always talk about stealing Josh's thunder, or Josh stealing other people's thunder, which is impossible, but there we go, thank you.
I actually stole someone's thunder when I was younger. I had a t-shirt to prove it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Was it an AC/DC t-shirt?
No, it's just that I stole
I have a
someone's
couple of
thunder.
those.
And it had a lightning bolt on it.
I will take first watch. Is Silkus actually casting alarm?
Yes, Silkus will cast alarm. He does so. He, this time, having learned from past mistakes, sets it to not be set off by Myconids.
Good on
That's quite some character progression you did without his permission.
Yeah, exactly right. He's not allowed to learn without him being here.
I think last time the Myconids just gave him a headache.
Pretty much.
Silkus offers to take the last 2 watches with whoever wants to do those as well. Fenrir will offer to take second watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's taking third and fourth. Unless Silkus wants to take one on his own.
I don't think he does. He didn't seem to.
I'll
keen on
take
last
fourth.
time.
Fourth?
I'll join him for third.
Okay. Sariel, roll your perception check for me, please.
As I say,
Do I get any advantages for my doggy pal?
Roll 2 separate perception checks for me for both of you.
as I said, I'll take fourth watch. I like side-eyed Sulfur. Just to make sure she knew what I was doing.
Roll D100 for me. What did you roll?
I got 15. She gets 11.
Okay. What was that?
I was looking for her
43.
perception.
You're going to be on lookout, but as an owl.
No.
Okay. Throughout your watch, Sariel, you notice overhead a couple of those dark shapes of that large bird. You've seen them previously at night, but now you recognize the silhouette as the one that had dive bombed you earlier, although it doesn't seem to bother you this time.
I've got more of that lightning.
You also see, passing by at one stage, a tree. Just a tree. Seems to be using his roots to wander. Not the same as the treant that you previously encountered on your way in. This one is just a big old moving tree using its roots to walk, as it kind of... The roots kind of... almost like an octopus. The roots just kind of slither out in front of it and push it from behind. As it moves past the camp, doesn't seem to pay attention to you, very, very slowly. Other than that, nothing really catches your eye and nothing attacks. The myconids are milling about as per their usual routine. They don't seem to sleep, or if they do, they take turns, or at least you don't notice them sleeping. And your watch eventually comes to an end. So you wake up Fenrir.
Yes, and I'm going to take away anything that he could use to distract himself during the
Wow, you have no trust.
his whetstone and anything like that.
He
To be fair, I've also done this to Silkus and I've taken away his books, so don't take it too personally.
He promises to put them away, and he does. He puts them in a bag and leaves his bag inside the camp while he moves to a watch spot.
I'm going to move his bag over to where my bag is. And go to
Okay.
sleep.
Okay. He is going to roll
Not
his
to chuck a
perception.
Fenrir.
Your relationship with Fenrir has so many layers to it.
I know. It's amazing.
To be fair, I did the same. No, to be fair, I have done the same thing with Silkus when he was paying little attention to a watch, and I took his book away.
He rolled
So-
terribly naturally, but he's a pretty perceptive guy. So, Fenrir's watch happens. None of you get woken up during his watch, and he eventually wakes up you and Silkus,
Yep.
John. You can roll one for each. I like how you've rolled one for each. Now you're rolling one for each. It's great.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do your
Okay,
rolls.
so the big one is me, so that is 9 perception for me and dirty 20 for Silkus.
Okay. Roll a D100 for me again, please.
59.
59.
Is he rolling for random shit happening throughout the night?
Maybe.
Like the walking tree?
Or maybe he just sat on his wand. So he's like
So
accidentally...
fart casting.
Silkus points out to you at one point, pretty early on actually, that there is a number of quite large roundish bushes that all seem to be moving together across one of the paths that you previously used. Again, they don't seem to bother you, but it's a cluster of about 6 or 7 of these quite large bushes. You don't see how they're moving, but they're just slowly creeping their way across. And one time where the cluster hits a tree, the whole cluster kind of moves around it, much like you see ants do when they reach an obstacle. Nothing seems to bother the two of you. And I'd like you to roll for Silkus, and I'd like you to roll, please. And I will roll D100 this time.
Another one.
Damn. So that's a dirty 20.
15.
I rolled a 58 and a 15 for you. Okay.
Good on
was-
yourself.
That was real good.
Oh no.
Yeah, I already rolled for Silkus.
Oh no.
So you and Silkus spend the last watch up. Silkus talks about the bushes that he saw moving around.
Oh, you should
moving
have
across.
seen them.
I'm keeping
they're
an
so
eye on
round
them.
and
But I'm also trying to get Shroom's attention because I want to like see what the myconids have been like eating.
Yeah.
Can I?
Roll another perception check for me.
Archibald, are you listening to me?
17.
17.
Yeah, I'm listening.
You, in between, as the two of you kind of go back and forth with your watches, you take a moment every now and again to see if you can see what they're eating.
Yeah.
And you kind of watch as one of the larger bipedal ones, not the biggest one, but one of the bipedal ones, with the help of a couple of the the quadrupedal ones, all drag in this long plant-like thing. It doesn't look like it was ever a creature, but it's a plant, like a large fern leaf almost, that they drag through and deposit in the center, and you watch as over time bits start getting chewed off of it, and they start devouring this particular type of plant. None of the other plants in the area have the same effect. I mean, you're only about 40 feet away from the center of their settlement.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna just I'll be right back. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try and get some of the juice or whatever from the inside of the leaf. You know how like aloe vera leaves and stuff like that.
Yep.
I just want to get some of that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna slink back.
You'd better hope that isn't pre-digestive juice.
I'm just gonna like sit down next to Sulfur, give her a couple of pets, and then I'm gonna go back and take my seat.
Roll an animal handling check for me. Oh no!
Is
Okay.
this with Sulfur or with the myconids?
You'll find out.
Okay.
You do this. You kind of move through
As
the
soon
milling
as there's
crowd.
like any sign of aggression from them, I'm just gonna be like, all right, fine.
No, they don't get aggressive at all, but you move through the milling crowd of myconids, and you take some of the leaf, you kind of crush it up between your hands, and you get another decent amount of the sap. You go back over to Sulfur, you sit down, you rub her for a while, you give her some good pats, and then you head back over to your watch spot.
Sorry about that. Just
And,
had to do something.
You sit with Silkus for a
okay,
while.
understandable.
Silkus at one point points
I
out.
don't know why in particular you felt the need to cover your hands in sticky sap and then like dog fur to make them all like furry or like.
Oh no,
Oh, wow.
I'm sure Sulfur will understand when she wakes up, and I like rub my hands and presto them clean.
Okay. Silkus at one point points out, in the distance, you see what looks to be essentially an inversion of the colour, but you realise it's like a weird transparent figure that kind of floats through the trees on the other side of the Myconid camp. Doesn't come near you.
Was it?
But fairly soon after you finish patting Sulfur, a number of them begin to make their way towards you, and then you presto your hands, and they kind of get to you, and they're like, they obviously look confused because they're kind of milling around you, not knowing what to do. One of them breaks off and goes over to Sulfur and starts lightly like caressing her fur. You don't see a mouth on it, but it seems to be kind of like moving over her fur. But the others all move back into the settlement as this one is just there. It's not Shroom 2.0, it's some random
fine.
one. Eventually seems to get bored and moves off Sulfur and back to the settlement as well. But your watch comes to an end, and that was a really fucking good idea. I wish you'd roll better.
So do I.
But you all begin to
Was
come
your
to
intention to
consciousness.
have my dog eaten, my wolf eaten?
No, I just wanted her to wake up completely covered in mushrooms.
Oh, good God. You also thought to presto your hands, which is the part that really ruined it for me, because I was going to have them come after you instead. But you prestoed yourself, damn it.
Astronaut doesn't want to be covered in dog fur and sticky sap.
You all come to consciousness. Go about your morning routine here in the jungle. It is still very humid. Each day is starting to get warmer and warmer as you're heading towards the
It is
end of
now
the year.
what date?
The 18th. It's now the 18th of Florence. Where did I put the black marker that I didn't?
Alright, so
That's not the one.
Sulfur's gonna wake up,
This one?
sit up, sort of realise nothing's happened to
I
her,
need that.
and be like, oh. And actually be a little bit sad, and then she's gonna walk up to Archibald, kind of like with her ears a little bit droopy and her tail down.
Roll
Kind of
survival.
like,
Roll a survival check for Sulfur for me, please.
2, so that's probably gonna be bad.
2. Okay. Yep, continue with what you were saying.
Okay, so she walks up to him and she looks sad. She's got like, her ears are slightly droopy and her tail's like down, not in between her legs, but it's down. And she kind of nudges him and she's just kind of like, don't you like me anymore?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Sulfur. I really tried to be creative with this one, and it just didn't work.
She sits at your feet, puts her tongue out like, and like wags her tail because she's happy. You tried. That's good. It means you're not done with her. She's happy with this.
Yeah. All right. So
And then she goes,
Excellent.
kind of like this.
she gets this very,
Smells funny.
very musty smell of like damp earth that she smells on her fur that she catches, but she doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe
she's
she's
like,
sucked in a weird patch.
yeah. She doesn't know what, but she's just like, something doesn't smell quite right today.
Yeah. So you all begin to move on once again after striking camp.
If I had rolled now instead of then, I would have gotten a better result.
D100 for me, please.
Yes! 54.
54. Okie dokie.
See, I was trying to figure out what I could do without casting spells.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't forget to give yourself your spell slots
Yep,
back.
everyone get your long rest. You all did get one.
Feels good. I like my spells.
You move through this for the next couple hours relatively unaccosted by anything. The jungle is milling around you, and you see a lot of the same creatures that you saw on your way in, but nothing catches your attention as potentially hostile or out of the ordinary as you move here for the next hour. Roll another 100 for me.
Yes! 79. 49. I was half right.
49. Okay. As you continue through the jungle for the next couple hours, you come across this small mound of just dirt. No grass, no foliage, just a small mound of dirt in a relatively small clearing. And are you passing over it, around it? How you...
I think it's worth going around it. Was it here when we arrived?
You seem to have deviated slightly from the path.
Okay.
But you're still on the same
Do
track.
I recognize anything about this mound? Like, have I seen a similar mound before?
Roll a straight intelligence check for me.
It's cool. The cock
You and
roll
Silkus can as
might
well.
be better.
Yeah.
Straight intelligence.
Fine. I see how it is.
So that is
12?
Actually, what is it? It's 4. Okay, so that's 19 for Silkus, and I think just and a 4 for me.
Okay. Silkus kind of brings up the point that it almost looks like a small barrows, but it would be really weird because there's no one really out here.
Like a barrow is in like a burial mound.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, just to be clear, I'm gonna just to make sure that there's nothing like a hump with something live under it. I'm gonna throw frostbite at it.
Okay.
You know,
You cast frostbite. Roll your damage because it's auto hit.
We've been walking for a couple
Yeah,
of
but if,
hours, haven't we?
if it is actually alive, it needs to do a Constitution saving throw. Just to be clear.
Yep, no, that's all right.
Yeah. 6.
6. As you release the frostbite over the mound, you watch as the force of it sends a lot of the dirt kind of flying off and actually uncovers just the very top of a bone.
Okay, so this was right. Move on.
Oh, important question. Does Sulfur get excited about this bone?
No, because it's covered in frost.
Okay.
Like the logic here is she's grabbed things that are frosty before and her tongue got stuck and she didn't like it.
The frost goes away pretty quick because of the humidity in the area. So before you've left the clearing, it is well and truly
Okay,
gone.
Oscar, roll. Can you roll a d20? On high, she'll sneak back and grab it. Low, she won't.
That was a natural 8.
So she won't.
Okay. Sulfur does not. Who's in the back?
I think
You
I'm still in the back.
Roll a perception check for me.
Yeah. This is gonna go well.
Natural 20.
It went well.
You weren't wrong. So, John, as you all move out of the clearing, you kind of glance back and see, just as you're moving out of sight, you see the bone kind of click over, and then the mound shifts and another bone clicks together, and you watch as the skeleton begins to form
That was
itself.
a skeleton. Oh boy.
You are out
pick
of
up a
sight
bow.
by the time it...
Human skeleton?
Humanoid? Roughly humanoid, yeah. From what you
Yeah.
can tell as you just leave sight, as it's kind of just forming itself together and picking itself up out of the dirt.
Should we be concerned?
Let's just get back to Yoln.
Alright.
Alright, at this point, roughly around this stage, as you continue for the next hour or so, you start to feel umbral connection come back to you.
Oh, my tattoos like do the reload.
Reboot. As the jungle starts to thin out a little bit, you get into a bit of a marshy area where the mud is a bit thicker as you're moving forward, but you pass by the point where Fenrir's camp was previously set up.
Yeah.
And you leave the Coram Peninsula. You are now back within umbral range. Your batteries automatically recharge themselves. So now everyone has their 2 that they originally started with fully charged.
Yeah.
And for the sake of brevity, you reach Yoln over the next couple of days. So
And nothing bad happens.
yes,
It finally happened, guys.
cross off 2 more
How many
days.
days?
2 more days. So it is now the 20th of Florence.
Gee.
Um,
This is important to me, so we just,
As roughly late morning, you crest over that final little ridge that brings Yoln into your line of sight. As you look down below you at the circular city, the tiered city ahead of you, what are you doing?
Oh, it feels good to be back.
Yeah.
So,
Lyari there with you. You have picked up a couple of things from Lyari in your journey.
yes, Lyari, how you doing?
You have picked up another couple phrases.
Yeah.
Alpha radiation.
Oh, cool. We are actually dealing with nuclear science.
Followed immediately by the words beta qualities. You also at one point heard Lyari mutter under their breath, "Need water."
I would have given them water.
They take the water,
Yeah.
drink it, and then scream
feed
"Poison!"
them, of
at you.
course.
And that's it. They continue
Can
mumbling.
I offer him some food?
Yeah, they eat. They eat throughout the journey without issue. At one point, you get close and you kind of go to help them out, and they go, "No, don't touch me." But don't seem to react beyond that point. They take the food, they eat it.
Do they seem to be recovering more as we get further and further into umbral range?
Doesn't seem to be affecting them.
I mean, the no, don't touch me sort of seems alright.
Let's
And Archibald, when you get close to give them water, you do catch another few words. You get the words potential, store,
hold up.
store as in hold,
Yeah.
release,
Wait.
you then also get 2 more words.
Yeah.
The word abyss and the word Torrens.
Torrens.
You're not sure.
Potential store and release. I feel like I've heard that before. Did I? Like, this is Glenn asking.
I'm not sure, honestly.
There's a very common phrase of catch and release that you might be thinking of.
I'd like to make a history check for Glenn. 'Cause I feel like I've heard those words in that sequence. I can't remember.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Alright.
I'm not sure. I would tell you, but I'm not sure.
Cool.
One time as Silkus gets close, you all hear Lyari utter a few names. You hear the word Roderick. You hear the word Gwendolyn. You hear the word Syrian. And then they kind of follow up with a baby Neward.
These his brothers and sisters?
Silkus refuses to comment.
Okay.
So,
John, are these his brothers and sisters?
I have been explicitly told not to look at the background page.
I was just wondering if John knew.
Because, John was a Chimerian.
And they seem to know each other.
Or at least know of
Roll
each
a
other.
history
Yeah,
check.
roll a history check.
If you roll high enough, you get to look at his history page.
7.
You don't know. You're not sure.
Okay.
Damn. Also, if they are his siblings, how did he end up with a name like Silkus when his brother's name's Roderick? There's interesting naming schemes going on in this family.
I'm imagining it was like one parent was just like, okay, fine, but I am naming the next one.
Do you know that my parents legit did that? Naming me. It's great.
You also as you kind of crest over the final ridge to see Yoln. You begin to make your way down into Yoln. As you kind of move past the first building, suddenly Lyari goes, "Fireball!" and throws their arms out. I'd like everyone to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Cool.
Okay, so
Oh yeah, I got my HP back, so...
that is a
19.
probably a pretty
19.
That's a roll first off.
15 for Silkus.
15 for Silkus.
Really,
Yes, please.
Really should have taken counterspell.
And
She is 14.
Okay.
and 12 for John.
Okay, so
8.
8, 12, 15,
14
14.
and 19.
Or 14 and 19. So Sariel... What was Silkus got 15, right?
Yeah.
Sariel and Silkus, you two dive out of the way, hitting the ground. The rest of you
What?
kind of like... "Ah!" Nothing happens. They throw their arms out and scream fireball. 2 of you just hit the deck immediately, while the others just like kind of jump away. Even Fenrir is shocked as he kind of like, you watch him like start to bring up a spell and nothing happens.
I'm just gonna grab the outstretched hand and just like reef it behind his back. And, like I'm just gonna hold them and then tie them with whatever I have.
Yeah.
They start to like
Alright.
struggle for a bit, but then eventually kind of calm down and begin walking with you again.
It's
All right.
okay. We'll get you help. We'll get you help.
I know exactly the place that we should go, and that's kind of convenient because also Silkus, you have an appointment at 2.
Silkus is very confused as to what the fuck you're talking about.
So as we
Oh.
as we go through the city, I like lead I'll lead the party to a building which I've like had a look at before, and in the top the sign as we enter says Romena's counseling services.
Indeed, it does.
Awesome, we're having a counselling session for Silkus.
Can I roll stealth to back away and disappear?
Go
just
for it.
Very curious.
I was really hoping this would happen while Josh was here,
11.
but I guess we'll just have to make do.
11.
You have passed without.
You are noticed.
I'm gonna pass without a trace and do that. That's a good point.
That makes it 21. John, because you're the only person. Well, actually, never mind. No one's passive perception's high enough, so you do manage to slink back out.
Okay, so I want to go to the house of those people that we helped.
Oh damn! You're
Broke
not
into
letting
the
me
house.
come
I want to
past.
hit that way.
You're not letting me come with you.
No, you're gonna go be nosy about Selkirk.
All right.
We're not all going in on Silkus's session. We're probably all going in on this guy's
I
session.
just see counselor and I'm like, nope.
Roll a persuasion check, John, against Silkus.
I like the idea that the counselor is just a very stressed out cleric.
That wasn't great, but
What?
8.
8. Silkus fights back severely against this.
It's like,
You don't manage to convince him to enter the building.
will you at least come in while we try and get this guy some help?
He agrees to that. And what we'll do is we will revisit this in a future session when Josh is here and
Yeah.
see how exactly this counselling session goes. But for now, what I'll do, this can be a whole one shot. We'll do a one shot where it's just this counselling session. For now, ooh, okay. You emerge from the counselling session and Lyari has not really improved. Still seems completely mad. The council was unable. Romena was unable to get through to Lyari at all.
I have a map of Yoln.
You do have a map of
I'm
Yoln.
going to open it and try and find a hospital or
Okay.
a place of healing.
Okay. You open it up and you have a look around, and there are a number of hospitals, infirmaries, and even temples in some places.
I'm going to. I'm going to look for. I'm thinking of temples, probably a good place to go.
Okay.
So, you want to come to a temple? I've
Yeah.
never been, so I don't know what to look for. It just seems like a place that can heal.
Well, hopefully. Yeah, let's have a look around.
All right, we're gonna go find the highest level paladin and or cleric that we can.
Okay. So there are a number of temples.
Where'd Sariel go?
A couple of them you notice are temples to Morgan.
Ah.
Which you recognize as pretty much the god of Daelandar, essentially. But there are a couple others. One is a temple to Umberly, and one is a temple to Grumsh.
Can you say that again, please?
Grumsh.
Gruumsh.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay. I turned to John. I know a lot of things. I know a lot about a lot of things, but religion's not one of them. Who should we take this guy to?
So, sorry, which religion did you say it was?
Morgan, Umberly, and Grumsh.
Okay.
You would
Oh,
know
like,
this, so yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got that page too.
let's go to Umberly, because it probably won't be quite as well frequented, but also one of her domains is wellness, so
That'll work.
yeah.
All right. We're going to go towards the temple of Umberly.
Okay, so you make your way around the girdle to start with, the top ring of Yoln, and then eventually into the second tier, where you find this temple. So I'm going to say, Sariel, you went off to do what exactly?
I wanted, you know, the house we broke into to heal the lady.
Okay, I'll revisit that.
Yeah, that's fine.
After all this, are you coming with them for this, or are you doing that on your own?
No, she's
No,
going
I'm
with-
out. I don't even know where they are.
Okay, cool.
And we don't know where
I
she is.
think they're still with the counselor.
Yeah. Okay. So the rest of you make your way around to this temple of Umberly, and you see ahead of you. It's a relatively small kind of church-like building. All of it, pretty much all of it, made of stone, just like the rest of Yoln. Although parts of it, some of the kind of the trimming on the wall, on the doors and around the windows and stuff is a nicer marble as opposed to the kind of slate grey stone that most of Yoln is. And above the doorway, the entranceway, you see a relatively large carved depiction of 3 linked circles, which is, as you know, the symbol of Umberly.
Yeah.
You head on inside, and you are immediately greeted.
As we head on inside, right before we're greeted, I go to John. Am I supposed to take off my shoes? What do we do here? Like, what's this? What's it? Oh, hello.
Roll a religion check. Roll.
This is just so far out of anything Archibald knows about.
Yeah, 15.
15. You're not entirely sure, but you don't feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I think it's fine. Like, I don't see an obvious shoe tree, so I assume it's fine.
Okay.
I say
Obvious
shoe tree
tree.
instead of shoe rack, but whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
Shoe
gonna
pile.
before we walk in, after getting that information, I'm just gonna like click my feet together and cast presto on them.
Okay.
It seems like a good thing to do.
Okay, you do so. So as you enter, there's only one figure kind of standing in this main room here. There are a number of pews. It looks like a fairly conventional church-style building here. No glass of any kind anywhere, but it's relatively high roofs. Some pews, and then a central dais up the front, where there is currently just sitting on the dais itself, facing you, a high elf man that you can see up there. And he, as he sees you enter, he stands up, and he's wearing these long, dark robes, and moves towards you and says, "Hello, my name is Soren. Welcome to our temple. What can I do for you?"
Hi. Do you have... Oh, I should give some context. We were recently out adventuring, I suppose, and rescued this man who appears to have been attacked by the kind of creature which assaults the mind, and we were hoping that we could get him some help. Do you think that you would know someone that might be able to help?
I can definitely offer my assistance. It's a specialty of ours to recover both the body and the mind. It may take some time, depending on how severe the affliction is. We may have to do multiple rounds, as it were. But we have a place that we can keep them infirmed, and you can always visit as you wish. Do you know the nature of this
Eldritch.
particular affliction?
We assume it was inflicted by some manner of magical creature.
Okay.
We've managed to get some information from him, but he's we can't really effectively communicate. He'll speak occasionally.
As if on cue, Lyari just pipes up with, "I'm hungry," and that's it.
Everything is poison to him, so just keep that in mind.
You watch as Soren takes a step forward and kind of grabs Lyari's hands and inspects, kind of looks into their eyes and just kind of takes a moment to look over, see what he can kind of garner from this. And said, "Leave them with me for some days, maybe 3. Okay. And by then, they should have fully recovered."
Awesome.
Thank you. That's good to hear.
I'll do my best. And of course, any further developments, and we will contact you. Don't worry, that won't be a problem. Awesome. And kind of leads Lyari very slowly as Lyari kind of...
I just want to make sure this guy's on the level.
Yeah. Kind of... Okay, roll insight check.
I trust him.
Okay. Hard to read.
No, he's not.
Lyari
He's a clergyman.
Lyari kind of shambles next to Soren, hanging off of his left arm, and Soren leads Lyari into a back room where, as the door opens, you can see there are a number of beds, of which one is occupied currently, and the door closes again, and you don't see them.
Okay. Well, where's Sariel?
Yeah, I do not know. I suppose resupply, meet up at the same inn. I assume that's where she'll try to find us.
Good idea.
Oh, we could check out that tailor. You guys were getting like custom matching outfits or something, right?
Pretty sure Silkus was getting us custom matching outfits.
I mean, I never specified they had to be matching.
To be fair, you wanted them to be matching. I vetoed that. Okay, so are you heading over there now, or...?
We'll just mill about town for a bit, head over in a while. Head over to the...
It's probably mid-afternoon at this stage.
Yeah.
Early to mid-afternoon.
Cool.
So you've got some time.
We'll head over to the tavern eventually. Yeah.
Okay.
Once we figure out what...
To be clear, are you going to the tailor's or not?
I mean, I don't need to
Sure.
go there, but I'll tag along if you guys go.
I'll tag along with Silkus. He seems invested in this. And by that I mean he's already paid.
Yeah, he is quite invested, that's true.
Yeah, I'll go to the tailor's.
Okay, cool. So you head over to there. Sariel, you enter... Well, you don't enter. You reach the home of the lady that you had cured after breaking into their home previously. And you knock on the door. You hear some shuffling for a bit, and the door opens to reveal the man standing there. As he sees you, he kind of gets a bit of a shocked expression on his face and says, "Hello. What are you doing?"
It's dead. So I just...
What do you mean? What's it?
Yeah, the gross disease guy. He's dead.
You mean the
I just
horseman?
want to tell you. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We killed him. I just want to tell you so that you didn't have to worry about it anymore.
And he turns around and frantically...
No. If he's getting... do I see him pick up like a purse?
He turns around and
Money
rifles through a drawer that's just behind him and starts and pulls out a bag of what sounds like coins.
I'm going to yell no and then run away.
What?
And I'm running down the street going, no.
It's so much more awkward than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And he closes the door behind him.
And then I'm going to go to Sulfur and ask her if she can sniff out Archibald. because I don't know where they
Okay, so you return. You and Sulfur return to the last known location of the rest of the party. Roll a survival check for Sulfur.
Counselor's out there having a smoke. Hello, can I help you?
are. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Sulfur does manage to pick up the scent despite the relatively heavy traffic in the area. And the two of you
It's
begin...
the smelly boats and his bag of holding. She can just...
Oh, exactly right. Which, by the way, is now functional. And...
Closed very tightly so that smell can't get out.
Sulfur picks up the scent and leads you around the girdle quite a ways, and you eventually do meet up with these ones, which is just about the time they are leaving the temple/church.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Where'd you go?
I don't do counselling.
Fair enough. So where'd you go?
I went and saw the dude that wanted Pestilence dead.
Okay.
So I get that out of the way. He
That's
tried to
good.
give me money, so I ran away.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We did tell him that we'd do it free of charge.
Yeah, well, so I said that he was dead, and he just started rummaging, and he pulled out, like, what looked like a kind of big purse. So I was like, nah! And ran off. So
Fair enough.
he probably thinks I'm really weird, but yeah. We didn't get paid for it, but I wanted him to know about it so that he could stop freaking out.
Okay.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
But you guys were preoccupied and seemed to want to nose into each other's lives, and I wasn't very keen on that. So yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure what we got out of that counselling session with Silkus. It just seemed like it went by in a blur.
We'll probably remember in 3 weeks or so.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
So...
Should we visit the Maestrial and let her know that
We should visit the Maestrial and let her know that there's a gigantic cavern full of mind-altering monsters.
Good point. Let's do that. And also just let her know that Pestilence is dead.
Yeah.
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 Her I'm willing to take money from.
Okay, so with that, you all begin heading down to the inner ring, the axle of Yoln, heading to the Maestrial.
Sorry, Silkus, I don't think we're going to get to the tails today.
Oh, I was so excited for you to see my tails. They were going to be so fashionable.
Coattails! You begin heading down to the axle to speak with the Maestrial.
I just got the worst image ever in my brain as Hannah Nosario.
I did
Let's
not.
not elaborate on that.
I did not foresee that.
That's
consequence.
not. Can you guys quickly make me think of something else?
Pink elephants.
Oh god.
Pink fluffy elephants, because why the fuck not?
Alright. Continue about moving on.
You make your way to the axle. You see the lagrum ahead of you, the only timber building in Yoln from what you know of.
Yeah.
And as you walk through the door, you see the Maestrial up ahead, currently in fairly, not aggravated per se, but frantic conversation with one of her scouts. You don't make out the words from this distance, but as you begin to approach, we are going to end the session there. Now,
We've just wandered into another quest.
for the sake of this, you are going to all have about a week's worth of downtime
Hell yeah.
Okay.
to do what you like with it.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So, in between sessions, think of what you want to do with 7 days worth of time. Consult the books, consult me with whatever you want. This includes training skills. This includes training proficiencies. This includes
Guess who's hitting up the library for triple proficiencies?
spells, all that kind of stuff. So, with that week of downtime, decide what you want to do with it. But, for everyone there at home, thank you everyone so much for watching. It's been a fantastic time here. We will not be back next week. We will be back in 3 weeks' time, as the next 2 weeks we will be taking a break to see to spend time with family, to be overseas,
Wedding.
like some people, to go to weddings, all that kind of stuff.
Podcast.
So everything, go to a live podcast. Everything seems to have come together over these next 2 weeks. So we're taking them off. If you have questions for us for our mid-show, after-show, please chuck them to our Twitter over there. Or go to our Discord and ask them in there as well. We will answer those next time we see you here on Max and Double on the 28th of this month. Of course, follow us each individually on Twitter if you enjoyed, and follow us here on Twitch if you've enjoyed our content. We would love to see you become a part of the community. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you in 3 weeks' time. Until then, take it easy.
And breezy.
Ah!